miles, end zone. He's got Evans for the touchdown. Third down conversions on their way down the field, and Mike Evans is in for the score and the early points for the Buccaneers here on the road.
Well, Kevin King comes up, he gets a jam on him, and then he doesn't really retreat after that. And Evans is just able to get him behind him, go to the corner, and mistimes his jump on the ball.
He can't be stopped now, cause it's bad boy for life.
Evolution. Sports Talk Television live here nightly. All Bucs Report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about on tonight's show. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Will you shut up and be quiet? What's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television here nightly on Bucs Report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And only 6 days away from Super Bowl 55 between your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Kansas City Chiefs. So are you ready? Open phone lines. I'm not going to waste any time tonight. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. And how do we start off the Sports Web? Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have Alex Rawlings, NFL, from YouTube, a substantial following on YouTube, over 40,000 following. So we'll get his thoughts on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then we will have Chris, the owner of Dugout Mugs, who's got a great thing going on, celebrity shootout at Top Golf. And it includes David Ortiz, Chris Godwin, and plenty of celebrities. So a lot of things to get to. And then, of course, your comments, as always, on the Advanced Auto Parts Sports Web, the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Join the 68,000 following we have here on Facebook, of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and that Bucs Report Twitch channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go out to the phone lines. You're on the Evolution. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Eric. This is Eric from Riverview.
What's going on, Eric? What do you have to say, buddy?
Man, let's go fight them Cannon, motherfucking Cannon. Nobody gives the Bucs a chance this week.
All right, how's that?
The Bucs are going to win though, because we got Tom motherfucking Brady.
Okay, you don't have to curse. Eric. You don't have to curse, buddy. You don't have to curse. Okay. No.
So
Okay.
Tom Brady's to go. Bucs defense is good.
Okay. You excited? You pumped up? What are you looking at? What matchups besides Tom Brady?
The Bucs offense is dangerous, and the Bucs defense is scary.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. So, what else do you have to say?
Devin White, B. DeVita, and David. I think everyone's going to play. I think the Bucs are just keeping it low. Did you hear about the Kansas City Chiefs have 2 players out today due to COVID-19?
Yes.
Players on the Chiefs.
Yep, we were going to definitely get to that because that's some breaking news just coming down from Adam Schefter of ESPN.com. The Chiefs have placed receiver DeMarcus. Okay, DeMarcus Robinson and center Daniel Kilgore on the COVID-19 reserve list. Although the good news is that the designation happened because of close contact with the person who has the virus and not a positive test. So we'll see how that affects them going into this game. But of course, everybody kind of looking at that factor at this point and seeing, what the effects of COVID is going to be on each team. Hopefully minimal effects because you don't want any players to miss this game. So,
Because I've been hearing about AB. It's not looking so good, but everyone else could play. But the Brown situation, nobody knows yet.
Nope. You really don't know yet. You're exactly right. Absolutely. All right. What else, Eric?
I was wondering if you know, because maybe you know some sources. Maybe you know.
No, I don't have any idea about anybody that's missing this game at this point. Just reported. I don't have any sources. If I do have something, then we'll definitely share it with you here on the Sports Web. All right, boss?
Okay, bro. Let's buy them cannons.
All right. We'll do that. There you go. There you go. Good stuff. He's coming in a little bit passionate, but a little bit too passionate. No need to curse on the program. No need to curse. There's no need. Come on. No need at all. So let me go out to the comments here. Hi, Bucs Report says, Eric, you can. Real Bucs fans know this is the team Jameis built. Of course it is. And that's what I think about that. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's your boy Dominic from Manassas, Virginia. What's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Man, I am doing great this evening. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Getting ready for this game. Only 6 days away between Kansas City and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are your thoughts?
Man, my thoughts, it's going to be a great game at this point. Honestly, I think Tampa Bay has a good shot of winning it. But I heard that one of their plays is going to the COVID list. Who is it again?
Who? For the Bucs?
No, for the Chiefs.
Well, no. Well, right now, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN.com, the Chiefs have placed DeMarcus Robinson and center Daniel Kilgore on the COVID-19 reserve list. The good news, again, for this situation, because we don't want anybody to miss the Super Bowl because of COVID, is that the designation happened because of close contact with the person who had the virus. There is not a positive test at this point, so all that could basically change. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, that does make sense. But the Super Bowl, it's going to be a great game played at the Bucs home stadium. And honestly, Tom Brady, he's done excellent with them. So I think Tampa Bay has a good shot of winning this.
You got a prediction yet, or are you going to hold off on that?
My score prediction?
Yeah.
My score prediction, I think Tampa Bay could win 25-20.
25-20. That's kind of odd, but okay. I'll go with that, I guess. 25-20. You're going to change that prediction eventually?
Yeah, eventually. I mean, that's it is kind of odd, but I may change it eventually. So.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. Have a good night.
All right, man. Appreciate you. All right, let me go ahead and fire them. All right. And, of course, we've got Hiri the Greek. And like I said, we got Alex Rawlings, YouTube extraordinaire. We have Liam Mitchell on here, but this guy right here definitely has a big-time following, so looking to get him on. So I tell you what, we'll hold off on the comments right now. Let's go out to my guest here, Alex Rawlings, NFL. Welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. And, of course, coming into this game right now, the matchup just 6 days away between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium. Your overall thoughts of this matchup?
Yeah, man. Great to be on. Thanks for having me. I think we really do have the two best teams in the NFL going at it. I'm incredibly excited. The Chiefs are they're going to be a test for the Bucs. There's no doubt about it. I've been charting the Chiefs, been charting the Bucs so far, and I think we're going to have a really good matchup.
Yeah, we'll hold off on the phone calls right now. We got our guest, unless you have a question for him, and I don't think he's going to take any questions from you guys, so we'll just hold off on the phone calls, and then we'll get back to it. You had some good breakdowns about this defense, and I think this is kind of the key. I mean, everybody's kind of talking about here, Alex. It's Brady versus Mahomes, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the defenses. And definitely right now, this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense seems like they're getting hot at the right time. They're also very aggressive. So what do you see with this defense that could really give the Chiefs a problem? And they may have to give them a problem because you can't let Patrick Mahomes do whatever he wants to, right?
Completely. As with every football game, there are a ton of different layers to, how the Bucs are going to approach the Chiefs. We've definitely seen the Chiefs win in a million different ways. And even in this postseason, with Mahomes going down and then, some struggles against the Bills, but, still pretty solid. So yeah, in my breakdown, I really talked about how the Bucs, did a great job of adjusting to what the Packers were doing, both going into the game and throughout the year, how they'd studied their film and then, tailored a game plan to what they were doing, but then also some of those minor little adjustments. So, I mean, going back to the Week 12 game, there are definitely some worries, of course, facing the Chiefs. If we look at, where the Bucs really, really excel as a defense, they are one of the top run defenses in the league, and they also blitz at the second highest rate in the NFL. And those are both things that, the Chiefs are, pretty good at. They don't really run the ball, and Mahomes is arguably the best of the last 2 or 3 seasons against the blitz that we've seen, out of anybody. So it'll be really interesting to see what the Bucs do. They only blitz Mahomes 9 times, which, you're usually seeing them blitz, 15 to 20 times a game. So I think they definitely realize that they, a little, just take the foot off the gas a little bit in terms of sending pressure. And, of course, Hill and Kelsey are those 2 guys. And there were some issues in that Week 12 game with Tyreek Hill. So I think that's the first thing you look at in terms of, hey, we can't let the cheetah loose again, just like we did in Week 12. And then how is that going to reflect on how we defend Kelsey? In addition to those things, are we going to send pressure and, heat him up with more than 4 and kind of throw him off balance since we didn't do that last game? Or are we going to do something similar and just try and mix and match our coverages? It's really, really fascinating what they're going to do. But I really do believe that Todd Bowles, if anybody, is the coach and one of a handful of coaches that can really mess with what Mahomes is looking at pre and post snap, and really, be the guy if somebody can do it to knock him down in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about Mahomes against the blitz this year, 17 touchdowns, no interceptions. So he's a customer to really blitz. And we're on with Alex Rollins of Alex Rollins NFL. Go ahead and tell everybody about what you do there on YouTube. Substantial following. Tell everybody about it here.
Yeah. So, I think we all, when we're watching a broadcast game, you don't always get to see, all 22 players, that kind of zooms in on who has the ball and the quarterback during the play. So I use the coaches film, which is what the coaches actually break down their own teams with. And it zooms out and it shows all 22 players. And then you can see what the safeties are doing and how the coverages are developing and how the quarterback's reading the play. So I'm really trying to break down and give fans what's really happening and what all the coverages mean and what a cover 2 creeper blitz is, or there's so much terminology we hear and we don't always get, the nitty gritty when we're watching the broadcast. And football is it's the best game in the world, in my opinion. And too often we're not getting to see just how incredible it is. So that's what I'm trying to do on my channel. It's been a lot of fun.
I like it. There's, again, Alex Rollins NFL on YouTube. Tell me something. What do you think the biggest difference between this defense in the postseason to the regular season is? And Villa doesn't count.
Well, I think I did mention how often that they blitz, and it wasn't the highest rate in the league throughout the year, but in the last 7 games since the Bucs did play the Chiefs in Week 12, they've blitzed opposing quarterbacks at the highest rate. So they are coming like no other. And what I think is really interesting, and I'm not necessarily saying that this has changed so much during the postseason, but we really see Devin White and Levante David blitz at pretty much unprecedented rates. When we look at, non-pass rusher types, not defensive linemen or edge rushers or anything, Devin White blitzes the 10th most of anybody in the league, and Levante David is 16th. And you really see, a team like the Chiefs, they're blitzing a lot of different guys. They're really versatility within their fronts and their secondary and their linebackers. They can mix all those guys around. But when we look at the Bucs, it's much more concentrated on, fire zone blitzes, which much more often, have linebacker types like David or Devin White. So I think that's a very interesting part of it. And really, for Mahomes to discern whether or not those guys, what they're doing before the snap, to see if those guys, if they do in fact blitz the Buccaneers, what Devin White and Levante David are doing is going to be absolutely huge.
It really is, and I think the key matchup that everybody needs to look at is people keep on looking at the offense, but I wonder how this offense can function without your 2 starting tackles. Eric Fisher is going to be out of this game. Mitchell Schwartz on the right tackle spot. These are no slouches here. So for me, that's the advantage that this Bucs defense has, especially with Vita Vea and his impact last week versus the Green Bay Packers, right?
100%. And I think if we look back at last year's Super Bowl, the Bucs arguably have the best front 4 in the league. It is, JPP, Vita Vea, as you said, and then Shaq Barrett and Ndamukong Suh. It's incredible. And the Chiefs' offensive line is much more depleted than last year's. But, the 49ers defensive line, and they weren't really a team to blitz, so they were really relying on that front 4. And we didn't see the refs throw a single holding call the entire game last year. And so that'll be, especially if the Bucs decide not to be blitzing and they're just relying on this front 4 beating up that, the kind of the scrubs and the backups of the Chiefs offensive line. If there aren't holding calls being called, then that'll be really crucial. Because, if you look back at the film last year, against Nick Bosa and, Buckner and those guys, there wasn't a single holding call, and it really impacted the game. So that'll be huge. That's what I'm interested to be watching.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what the outside guys do. Interested in Shaq Barrett coming off that 3-sack performance versus Aaron Rodgers. Of course, JPP having that experience with the New York Giants. It'll be very interesting because I feel like that's the advantage that the Bucs will have. Now, a disadvantage that you could see that kind of scares you with this Bucs defense versus this potent Chiefs offense.
Sorry, you broke up one more time. What was that?
An advantage to me would be the defensive line versus that Chiefs offensive line. But where is a disadvantage? What worries you if you're a Bucs fan? What would worry you about this matchup offensively versus this defense?
Definitely. So, the Bucs, football is a game of give and take. So if you're going to be blitzing, you're going to put more pressure on the cornerbacks because, there's not as many guys in zones in the middle that you can kind of, you can play outside leverage as a corner and then kind of funnel your receiver back into that help. If you're blitzing, you're not really going to have that type of help. And that's what we do see the Bucs do that a lot, on the Marquez Valdez-Scantling touchdown in the Packers game. That was one-on-one, and that was, hey, that guy's one-on-one. There's no help over the top. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw a bomb. And of course, we saw that back in Week 12. Once again, not to beat a dead horse or bring up any bad memories, but Tyreek Hill went crazy, and they weren't really giving him help over the top. So I think if the Chiefs are able to really get those one-on-ones, and the Bucs aren't really giving them the kind of help because they are, forming a game plan to try and disrupt Mahomes as more as play instead of playing, more varied coverages or exotic type pressures and whatnot, that's where I would start to get worried because, Davis and, some of the corners on the Bucs, they're not superstars, that's not the strength of the team. So, if they're getting one-on-ones, then it could be a long day for them, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't see that with Tyreek Hill, how he just basically tore apart Carlton Davis and that Bucs back end. So I don't see them doing one-on-one coverage. I could see a safety over the top, playing some zone and stuff like that, but definitely mixing up the coverages. Now, talking about this Bucs offense, Tom Brady was asked today if he would play after 45, and he said, absolutely. What do you see on film from Tom Brady? All that was talked about in this last offseason was how Brady was washed up, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. But on the contrary, when you give him weapons, when you get him an offensive line to block for him, it's amazing what happens. 40 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He's still playing at a high level. Alex, could you see Tom Brady playing after 45 years old? Is that possible?
At this point, I'm never going against him, right? I mean, he's done things that we've never seen before. And, as I talked about on my channel, I'm really an advocate of, watching film and, breaking that down. And even just looking at last year, the numbers weren't quite there, but if you turn on Brady's film, he's still playing at an incredibly high level. And even just, I was breaking down the Bucs offense versus the Chiefs defense back in week 12 today. And, the results weren't there, of course they didn't win, but he had some unbelievable throws. And even Romo remarked on it that, 2 or 3 guys in the league are able to make the type of throws. There was a 3rd and 15, 40-yard bomb to Chris Godwin that just floated right in over the safeties as pressure was closing in. So, I think we also see with older quarterbacks, they don't like to get hit. They might be getting rid of the ball a little quicker. Ben Roethlisberger kind of had that issue where he wasn't really willing to push the ball down the field. But this year, we've seen Brady lead the league in average depth of target, which is how far he targets his receiver downfield. He was the highest of anybody in the league. So and historically, Bruce Arians' offenses, the quarterbacks are going to get hit more because the QB is going to hold the ball longer to try and let those routes get downfield. Mm-hmm. And that just hasn't fazed him. He's played incredible. As you said, 40 touchdowns, and he's been unbelievable. So, whatever he's doing, they say the avocado ice cream is kicking in at the right time. And he hasn't, in my eyes, really fallen off at all. So, 43, 45, I'm until he retires, it's hard to count him out.
Yeah, he even said this today. I think I'll know when it's time. I don't know when it's time, but I think I'll know when I put it all out there. I feel like I can't do that anymore. I can't commit to a team in that way. The team needs me. Then I think that it's probably time to walk away. Is this where the matchup lies with Brady in that second half versus the Chiefs? Having some opportunities. This Chiefs defense, they have Frank Clark. They have Chris Jones and Tyrann Mathieu, but besides that, they're not really that great of a defense, right? So is this where the Bucs offense, with everybody talking about the Chiefs offense, is this where the Bucs offense and Tom Brady could have a big game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely trending towards a shootout, or if you're going to keep up with the Chiefs in this game, it's definitely not going to be a 20-17 type. Yeah, I think they've really, gotten a lot better since that Week 12 game. I think even their quarterback coach, who I believe his name is Clyde Christensen, was on the Pat McAfee show today. And he was just talking about how, without preseason, they're still, they've gotten so much better, but they still need, he even said 8 or so more games to really hit what they could be, reach their potential. And it's still just, working out all those little kinks and, protection terms and, just getting on the same page. And I think we kind of saw that in Week 12, early on. There was a couple missed throws to Evans where he was kind of stopping and Brady was overthrowing him. And I think as you watch more, as these last couple weeks have gone on, they have gotten more comfortable, and that's, when they say being on the same page, that's if a team blitzes, which the Chiefs will, are you going to find your hot receiver? And what that means is, let's say you're in the slot and you have a corner over you and he blitzes, you're going to have to break down your route because there's pressure coming at the quarterback, and Brady's going to have to throw it in half a second. And that's one of the ways you beat the blitz. And that early in the Chiefs game, that they were, him and Evans were not connecting in that way. And then later in the game, third, fourth quarter, they did hit a couple of those. And I think that's one of the little things that's really improved as they've made it to the Super Bowl. So I think that they are much, much better on offense since we did see them that last time against the Chiefs. And they have really gelled and just gotten those reps with one another. And I do think they are capable. They have talent everywhere. There's not really a soft spot on their offense that you're worried about. And I do think they have what it takes to keep up with the Chiefs, but it will be a big challenge, no doubt.
Who's the X factor in this game, in your opinion? Is it an Antonio Brown? He didn't play in that first matchup. He had rest. He didn't play against the Packers. So could he be the X factor? Or in your opinion, is it somebody else on this team that really shines on this offense versus the Chiefs at Super Bowl 55?
Yeah, if we're talking about the offense, I would look at Gronk. I believe it was his only 100-yard game of the year against the Chiefs. And, when you don't see the numbers for Gronk, it's not necessarily because he's not playing well, but they're just keeping him in the block more. And Brady does almost rely on him. He blocks edge rushers. He might block Frank Clark in this game. It might happen, in pass protection. So I'll be very interested to see how they use him because he really can be a threat, and he was a threat against the Chiefs if he is coming out and running routes. But maybe they do say, hey, we need to keep him in and, really sure things up and let, Evans and Godwin get downfield. So I think whatever he does, it'll be critical. I trust him as a blocker, but I would be very interested to see them, let him get out and, run some routes, whether it's within concepts or just beating one-on-ones and whatnot. And I'm very interested to see what he does.
Are you surprised by the trade? I know we had my professional handicapper here, the Greek, who was calling it Matt Stafford would be traded before the Super Bowl. Are you surprised by that trade and how much the Rams had to give up for Stafford? And they give up on Goff after paying him over $100 million. So what gives? Are they trying to follow what the Bucs did with getting a veteran quarterback into Tom Brady, where they feel like they're only one quarterback away in a Stafford? And do you think it's a good trade for both teams? Who does it favor, the Rams or the Lions, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. And I think, of course, there's a lot of layers to it. What I'm really interested to see, there's always, the system versus the player, and, how much does that factor in? How important is Sean McVay's system? And we don't really get to see that too often because teams usually keep players for a majority of their careers, or sometimes all of it, and especially for quarterbacks. So, I think McVay really has arguably the friendliest system for a quarterback. And we kind of saw that with Aaron Rodgers, with LaFleur, really go into that same system and really excel this year. So, and it wasn't necessarily like that with the Lions. So I believe I'm not huge on Goff. I would be worried that he's going to kind of fizzle out a little bit in Detroit these next couple years, and maybe even heading into this year. And I think the Rams have poised themselves for a run. They already made the playoffs this year, and Goff was very bumpy, and they wanted to start the accountant at quarterback in the playoffs. And so I think that speaks volumes. That guy definitely Walford definitely did not have a lot of experience in the NFL. Don't think he had any, in fact. So a quarterback with Stafford's pedigree, that people do say he hasn't won a lot, but when you surround him with talent and when you surround him with a system that's friendly, that lends itself to the quarterback, I do think he's going to explode. I'm very, very excited about it. In terms of, the winners and losers of the trade, and I think a big part of it that might be overlooked a little bit is that the Lions are taking on Goff's contract. So that was part of the issue with Goff has all this dead money on the cap. So the Rams were going to have to, if they just cut him, they'd have to still pay, $30 million or whatever it was to their cap. And now that the Lions take that on, I think that's where the surprise of the 2 first rounders, that big, that was a big price tag. But then again, the Lions are kind of taking on a negative with Goff's contract and the cap room and whatnot. So, I'm a fan of when teams just tear it down and try and start over. And I think Goff might be just kind of a holdover. And no disrespect to him, I really do hope that he, finds kind of a second wave with the Lions, and maybe he is their quarterback of the future. And I'm excited about the Rams. I'm very excited about the Rams.
Yeah, I tell you right now, they got the running game in a Cam Akers. You have the offensive weapons on the outside. The offensive line, to me, is a big-time question, but there should be no question about that defense. If Stafford can stay healthy, which is kind of a big if because he's been an injury-prone quarterback, then you may be in that conversation of being a Super Bowl contender. Deshaun Watson, does he get traded in now because of what Matt Stafford you saw that Matt Stafford trade? Now can the Texans legitimately ask for 3 first-round picks? And do you think Deshaun Watson could be worth 3 first-round picks?
Yeah, I think he's worth, everything out there, but he's not going to get traded. That's just, I'm pretty confident that he's under contract. The Texans have a lot of leverage. He is disgruntled, but I think there is sort of an advantage to having a new general manager come in and say, hey, maybe even kind of take Watson's side and say, hey, man, I wasn't here before. I don't know what was going on, but, I'm here with you. You're under contract. Let's build around you. Let's win. And just say, hey, Deshaun, you're 25, 26. If you want to sit out games in the middle of your prime, it's going to cost you money because you're under contract and we're going to fine you. And, we're going to move on and try and win games and we'll kind of wait you out and wait till you come back. And he's not going to retire, if they just hold on to him. And I think it's overblown. I think he's under contract. He's going to play for the Texans. I really firmly believe that.
All right, I got to ask you your final. Give me your prediction for this Chiefs-Bucs Super Bowl. Who wins and why?
Yes, we are on the Bucs report right now, but I unfortunately believe that the Chiefs will win. I think it's going to be about a touchdown. I feel pretty good about Chiefs 34, Bucs 27. Would I be surprised if the Bucs won? Not at all. And I think that, the Chiefs are one of the worst or just bottom 12, bottom 15 run defenses in the league. And I think if the Bucs can really establish the run game and, really just do whatever it takes to keep Mahomes on the sideline and not, chucking bombs all over the place. I definitely think the Bucs, with the right game plan, do have what it takes to pull this thing off. And of course, being at home is a major advantage. But I am looking at the Chiefs to win this thing.
All right, good stuff. Alex Rawlings, NFL. Once again, go ahead and promote yourself, promote your YouTube channel, and definitely don't be a stranger on the evolution. All right.
Appreciate that. Yeah. If you like learning about the game and hearing some of the terminology, some of the play concepts, some of the more in-depth stuff, some of the adjustments that Todd Bowles makes or defensive coordinators makes, everything and more, then please join me on the YouTube channel. It's I think everybody who watches it will enjoy it.
All right, there you go, Alex Rawlings, NFL. Thanks a lot for coming on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, the Sports Web, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. All right.
Peter, man, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Absolutely. All right, let's go out to our other guest here. Let's go out to Chris Denhart of Dugout Mugs, and he's going to tell us about what's going on here. A super celebrity shootout at Top Golf. Of course, February 6th. And it includes David Ortiz and Chris Godwin. Bucs own. Go ahead and tell us about it. Welcome to the evolution of sports talk television, my friend. And you're muted. There we go. There we go. We got you.
Yeah. I was listening to that other guy. He's got some good stuff. But yeah, so Big Poppy, we work with David on a few different occasions. Like you said, I'm one of the owners of Dugout Mugs. We turn baseball bats into beer mugs.
Very cool.
Probably one of the coolest mugs you'll get, I think. So it's kind of weird that a baseball company like ourselves is doing anything with football, but because of Poppy, he's got an amazing charity where he literally saves kids' lives. And this year, my good friend Matt Haynes, owner of Epic Entertainment, he is throwing the big party the night before, and we rented out Top Golf. So he called me and he said, Chris, let's team up on this thing and let's see what we can do. So COVID, it's kind of a weird year, and there's very few places that you can actually get anything done. So Top Golf is one of them. We're socially distanced, servers to every bay. There's plexi in between everything. We've gone to the extents of the CDC requirements. So it's going to be a really good, fun night. I think we got about 30 or 40 celebrities that are going to be there with us, golfing, taking pictures, signing autographs, doing all kinds of fun stuff, and ultimately raising a lot of money for two good charities. So not only, because I'm a Tampa guy, right? Not only for Poppy and his charity, but also Chris Godwin. I'm fairly close with some of Chris's people, and a couple phone calls, and he came on as a co-host. Now, obviously, he's got some things to do the next day, so he's going to do, I think he's going to come in on maybe do some video stuff for us, but he's getting rested up for the big game on Sunday. But he is also a co-host with us, and we're raising money for the Team Godwin Foundation as well.
This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. Glad to have this here on the Sports Web.
Yeah.
Evolution of Sports Talk Television. And some of those celebrities, you have David Ortiz, as you mentioned, Ryan Cabrera, Adam Hall, David Wells, Chris Kirkpatrick, Cliff Floyd, Barry Larkin. I met him a long time ago when I was a kid. In fact,
very good dude.
Yeah, very good guy. Warren Sapp, I won't say anything. Just the greatest defensive tackle of all time. Johnny Damon, Joe Smith, Titus O'Neil, WWE superstar, Brandon Merriweather, former Miami Hurricane, New England Patriot, Edgerrin James, of the Colts, of course, and Miami Hurricanes, Fred Taylor, former Florida Gator, Devin Hester of the Miami Hurricanes and Chicago Bears, Brad Johnson, Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Anthony Beck, who played for the Jets, and of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a great podcast out there, Nick Swisher and Dwight Gooden, among others.
Allstott's going to be there, I think. We got some, it's going to be star-studded because, I mean, listen, everybody, they're all just people, and they're ready to get the hell out of their house too. And that's what we're all ready to do. Go have some fun, get out of the house, party, celebrate the Super Bowl, and play some golf and raise some money, so that's kind of the overarching theme of what we're doing is we're trying to raise some money for a couple great charities.
Is there a goal for both of those charities and how much money to raise?
We're shooting for $300,000. That's the goal. I think Top Golf, we have a lot of bays. So the way it's working is I think there's about maybe half a dozen bays left where you golf with a celebrity. So for 3 hours from 9 until midnight, it's you and Titus O'Neil golfing, having fun, having drinks and food. And then we got a big live auction, stuff like I got a Mariano Rivera autograph ball. We do a lot of stuff with Mariano, Pete Rose. So we got a lot of autographed items coming in that we're just going to be donating. Dugout Mugs is a huge sponsor in this event. My company, Dugout Mugs. So yeah, we're going to be selling mugs. We got shirts. There's masks. There's tons of stuff going on, and it's all for the big purse.
Absolutely. What gave you the idea about your Dugout Mugs? Because that's an interesting idea. I think there's a lot of Rays fans that watch the show, although they would be disappointed.
They've probably seen them, which is really cool for me. So my business partner, Randall, came up with this idea back in 2016. He was an ex-pitcher in the Blue Jays organization, and just one of those things just wasn't good enough. He didn't make it. And at that point, he got pulled back into reality, and in that big reality check, like, what do I do now? And job after job, hated things like that. And then he ended up back coaching, wanted to get a little closer to the game at his alma mater, Florida Tech. And there was one of the other coaches was just chopping handles off of bats, right? Mm-hmm. And so he was doing a hitting drill. So when he chopped off this top chunk, Randall's an interesting cat. And he looked at that and he said, man, I bet you I could drill that out. And he did. So he came up with a bunch of bad samples, but, over a little bit of time and a lot of due diligence and a lot of hard work, he and I teamed up in 2017. And the rest is history. We're in 5 countries. We're in 110 stadiums, major league, minor league. It's been quite a ride. And so Randall is the brainchild behind it, but we've gotten creative. We started making whiskey mugs, coffee mugs. We have shot glasses and bottle openers made out of the bat handles. So we've turned it into, from a product, it's now, a community. We have a real good community around what we do. Mm-hmm. And we have about 250,000 fans and customers. They love us. We love them even more. And it's just fun. We get to do beer and baseball every day and hang out with cool people and do fun events and projects and work with legends, man. Like, I'm a kid. Like, I grew up watching Ken Griffey Jr. and I got to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award in LA. And Pete Rose, I saw Pete. I was real young, obviously, with Pete, but the ones behind me, these Nolan Ryan and Ozzie Smith, and it's kind of surreal. Get to do something that you love, right? It's rare these days, unfortunately, but we get to do that.
It really is, and I love what I do here on the Sports Web.
Yeah.
Why is because of things like this is going on Saturday night. Super Celebrity Golf shootout at Top Golf. We're on with Chris Denhart of the Dugout Mugs here talking about it. And once again, how much are the tickets? Because you can get tickets, you get food with it. I mean, and then of course you got to make a donation, right?
It's all good. No, you don't have to do donation. You buy the ticket. That's it. So you go to supercelebrityshootout.com. There's 4 different options on there. General admission. Every ticket comes with all you can eat, all you can drink.
Wow.
So yeah, you literally can't lose. And it's all going. And a lot of companies have been jumping in. Some of my partner sponsors, Tervis is involved, Hard Rock Casino, Seminole Hard Rock, Game Day Vodka. The official vodka of the Super Bowl, they're involved. Some other great spirit companies. So, everybody's getting involved. It's really cool. And like, if just you and another person want to go, grab a couple general admission tickets. Just go, hang out.
Nice.
And if you got a group, say you got a group of 5 or 6 people and you want to go golf with a celebrity, you get 5 tickets to golf. So the celebrity's the 6, because you can only have 6 in a bay. And then you get 4 additional general admission tickets as well. For people to come and float around with you. So it's very reasonable. Tickets are like starting on $250.
Nice.
To go for the whole thing. It's not bad.
No, absolutely great. And of course, we're talking about Super Bowl 55 last week, all this week. I mean, give me your thoughts on it. Big time matchup. Everybody talks about Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. How do you see this matchup playing out on Sunday night at 6:30?
If it was just Tom Brady on the field, we wouldn't have made it past last week. Right. They have a hell of a defense. I think that's super impressive. I think Tom is, I got some of the balls up here, Peyton and John Elway above my head. Drew Brees is over across my office here. I'm a fan of amazing people, players, and work ethic. Right. And that's my business side too. But I think Tom is an incredible leader and an inspiration to have on the field. Love him, hate him. For whatever reasons, that's fine, but it's undeniable, right? Like, the guy's a freaking legend. And he came to the Bucs. There's a lot that I think came with that, but their running game's strong. Their defense is strong. The guys that people tend to forget about, like Brait. I mean, the guys, he'll put 150 yards up on you all day long.
Yeah.
So I think they got a well-rounded team, and I think they've had, I've been to games at the Sombrero, right? So I've been in this area for a while, and back when they had the orange and white with the Buccaneer and the sword in his mouth, I have that shirt. So I've seen them in their worst, and then they've had a hell of a team for a few years now, but there was just different pieces that weren't working, and now Tom came in, and Evans is healthy, and it's looking really good. Mahomes is a maniac. I mean, he's a future great he's a Hall of Famer in the making. We're watching that, but Tyreek Hill's he's like a cheetah. He's insane.
Yep.
Kelsey's a maniac. Like they got some serious weapons on both sides of the ball too. So I think it's gonna be a great game.
Yeah, I think it's great for the NFL because again, you've got a team that look, Kansas City, everybody kind of expected them to be back there, but you always have that Super Bowl hangover, but they have the talent. You have a Patrick Mahomes who's basically the face of the NFL, and then you have the GOAT, the greatest of all time, and a Tom Brady. Let me ask you, you said you've been a Bucs fan for a long time. Do you appreciate this season more than the first Super Bowl season in 2002, 2003?
I was a lot younger then. I think I was 20, right? So right. I didn't pay. There's a lot of other things you're paying attention to when you're 20, right? Where to buy beer and what's happening that night, kind of thing. If we're telling the truth, but
right.
I think I appreciate it now because you realize, and I think a lot of teams, dominant teams in different sports, their fans don't appreciate it because they're so used to it. The Yankees, the Patriots, right? Like there's. And then you have a drought. Look at the Cubs; they kind of had a little bit of a drought, you know.
Absolutely, 108 years.
It's been a minute,
yeah.
And even the Dodgers. I mean, what was that 20, 30 years? I don't even know, but it was. But again, like I think when there's the drought, you're like, oh wow, it's not. I don't deserve to be here every year. So that's been kind of cool, and. Yeah, but I remember back in the day, I was pretty passionate about the team because I got to see Warren, I got to see A-Train, Brad Johnson, John Lynch, Barber. It was cool. Derek Brooks, so that was a hell of a talented team. So it was fun to watch, and when you're a kid. But like I said, I was a little more distracted with other stuff. But now it's been really cool, and to have it happen in Tampa on a year where traveling is really not that reasonable. And ironically, it lands in my lap just as a sports fan and a experiential kind of person. It's really neat. So, yeah, I definitely appreciate this one more for multiple reasons.
You talked about working with celebrities. What's one of your favorite ones besides David Ortiz, Chris Godwin? Who's a guy that you met and you didn't really know what to expect, but he was really positive and he really shocked you?
Oh, man. With Dugout, we're really fortunate. A lot of people rock our stuff, and we work with a lot of people. One I've I've had interactions with since I was a kid. I'm from Winter Haven, and that's where the Indians played. Is Jim Tomei, just an incredible individual. Even to this day, when I meet him, it's a hug and talking, and just amazing individual. Pete Rose was really kind of surprising. You imagine Pete a certain type of way. But I didn't even know this, but he doesn't drink. He does plenty of other things. He got his vices. Like we're not our head in the sand about it, but
right.
Super sharp. Talking to him, I mean, I felt like I was reading like the baseball stats for like the last 30 years. It was freaking nuts. Yeah. So he was really, really sharp. Pudge Rodriguez is probably, just one of the nicest, happiest dudes there is. Mariano Rivera, probably one of the most humble guys. I remember it was really funny. We were working with Mariano on an event he was doing in Tampa. We were just one of the sponsors, and Dugout Mugs was involved. And that night I was leaving to go home, and Mariano was walking out of the back of the place where the dinner was happening. He was just going to walk to his house because he lived pretty close. I said, dude, jump in. I'll give you a ride home. So I ended up giving Mariano Rivera a ride home, and we're just sitting in there talking about like family and kids. Just one of the most down-to-earth guys I think you'll ever meet. And anybody that's met him will know what I'm talking about. But so, yeah, it's tough because there's so many guys that as a kid and a fan, you put them on a pedestal, but when it comes down to it, it's just a bunch of cool people, and the ones that are managed to still say real. It's really refreshing.
It really is. And I remember meeting Barry Larkin when I was about 10 years old at a Cincinnati Reds spring training. And the guy, even though back then he was one of the top shortstops and, of course, turned out to be a Hall of Famer, just the nicest guy, down to earth. I believe he's still like that. And
He is.
that's why he is a Hall of Famer, because it's not just his skills on the field, but it's his personality off. Once again, these charities that they're trying to get money for, which is a great cause. Once again, the David Ortiz Children's Fund provides essential support for children in the Dominican Republic and New England. And then also the Chris Godwin charity, which is at-risk animals, second chance through advocacy and financial support. So some really great stuff. Once again, tell us about what's going on Saturday night here at Top Golf. Once again, Chris.
Yep. So it's called the Super Celebrity Shootout. You can get the remaining tickets. I mean, there's very few left because it's very limited capacity with COVID. SuperCelebrityShootout.com. And we have about 700, I think is where we're going to end up, 750 people, which is about a third capacity for Top Golf. And 40 celebrity, about 35 to 40 celebrity guests. And we're going to be playing golf. They're going to be walking around, taking pictures, signing autographs. We have a all you can eat, all you can drink, come with every ticket. So that's awesome. I think we're partnering up. I can't remember if it was Lyft or Uber, but they're the ride share companies. So we're partnering up with them. So there's going to be safe travel for anybody that's, maybe had too much. And we're going to all the extents with all the CDC regulations and Tampa and Topgolf. So all the bays are capacity of 6. There's plexiglass between it, servers at every bay. So it's going to be a great night. And in fact, it's probably going to be one of the only parties in town for Super Bowl weekend on Saturday. And it's from 9 to midnight. And the tickets start at $250. I mean, you can't beat it. For the atmosphere, the guest list, the all-inclusiveness of it, I think it's going to be a great time, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you on the Sports Web. Now, I got to get your prediction here. Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's okay if you're a homer, by the way.
Sorry, I think the Bucs by 10.
Bucs by 10, and
by 10.
I tend to agree with you because I think a lot of people are kind of looking at the offense and saying, well, this offense has no flaws. But when you're missing both starting offensive linemen and the way this defense is playing right now, I think this is the most overlooked thing about this game, the defense, and that would be the
one shot. I mean, one shot to Patrick. I mean, he's not 100%.
Right.
One shot that could change the entire game.
Complexion.
He gets hit with a 1-2 right left, and he's out for 2 quarters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know who their backup is. He's probably good, but
Chad Henne, the greatness.
He's not bad.
Well, he did beat the Browns, of course.
He's not bad, but he's not Patrick Mahomes either.
He's definitely not Patrick Mahomes. So Bucs by 10. There you go.
I think so.
Chris Denhart of course, Dugout Mugs. Tell everybody about your Dugout Mugs here and where they can find information about that also.
So Dugout Mugs, that's easy, dugoutmugs.com. You can find us on any of the social media platforms from LinkedIn to Facebook. And we turn baseball bats into beer mugs. We take the top half of a bat, we hollow it out to make some really awesome beer mugs. If you don't drink beer, put tea in it, whatever you want to do. But we're licensed with Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, and the Players Association. So Dustin Pedroia just announced retirement. You want a Dustin Pedroia autographed, engraved in the side with all his stats and the Boston Red Sox logo, we can do it. We're in 5 countries and about 110 stadiums and venues. And it's awesome. Like if you just want a cool gift for a baseball fan, husband or wife for Valentine's Day. The cool thing is we can personalize every single piece. So if you wanted to put a handwritten message down the back for Valentine's Day, we have about a 3-day turnaround time right now. So if you order it on dugoutmugs.com and you get something special, you want to take a photo, we can actually laser engrave a photo on the mug. It's really cool. It's the gift for somebody that has everything, and you're only paying about $50 or $60.
That's
so
awesome.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
All right, Chris Denhart of the Dugout Mugs. Thank you very much for coming on the Evolution. And definitely don't be a stranger. I feel like I need one of those mugs, either a Bucs one, maybe a Rays one. Lightning. Who knows? Maybe just a report or sports web one. We'll have to.
You have hey, send me your logo. We'll work that out. We'll put it on the backside of a Rays mug. So if you're feeling froggy, you just rotate it depending on what's happening that day.
I try to throw it after the decision that was made by Kevin Cash to take out Blake Snell, and the organization trades Blake Snell in the offseason. My love
that was brutal
with the Rays. Yeah, I just so I would stick to covering the Bucs.
That was painful. My wife and I went to the World Series in Arlington, and man, to watch the game when Rosarina scores the game winner, or when Snell was just dealing and they went with stats, I was like, dude, I don't know. It was incredible. It was an incredible run, incredible ride. They got a little bit of work to do coming up this season, but they got some players. They got some guys that really got some talent that are still there.
Yeah, I mean, you can never rule them out, but I just kind of feel like when you get rid of Charlie Morton and you get rid of Blake Snell, I'm not sure how good you're going to be, but we'll see. The Rays always surprise us as much as the Bucs have surprised us this year. Chris,
it's been a hell of a year for Tampa.
It really has. And the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup, I mean, you've got to love every aspect of Tampa Bay sports right now, Chris.
What are they calling it, Champa Bay?
Champa Bay. I love it. All right, Chris, thanks a lot for your time here on the Sports Talk Television, all right?
All right, y'all take it easy.
All right, there you go. Chris Denhert of the Dugout Mugs there. And once again, supercelebrityshootout.com for all the details on this. It's for a great cause. David Ortiz's charity for the children and Santo Domingo and New England. And, of course, Chris Godwin for advocacy of animals. So there you go. Again, I love this kind of stuff because if you have a platform and you have an opportunity to make a difference, and then, it's so much fun. He was saying $250 and you get a chance to hang out with celebrities like, David Ortiz, Ryan Cabrera, Adam Hall, David Wells, Chris Kirkpatrick, Cliff Floyd, former Ray. You forget he was a former Ray in 2008 when they went to the World Series. Big time part of it. Barry Larkin, I mentioned him. Warren Sapp, Johnny Damon, another Ray. Of course, you have Joe Smith, Titus O'Neil, WWE superstar, does so many great things in the community. Brandon Merriweather, Edrin James, Fred Taylor, Devin Hester, Brad Johnson, Anthony Becht, Nick Swisher, and Dwight Gooden. Once again, supercelebrityshootout.com. All right, let's go out to the comments here. Read what you got to have. Now you can call in 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web live here on Bucs Report, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. For all your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. Tell them Peter Blake Sports Web and, of course, Bucs Report sent you. All right, let's go. Bucs, says Eric. We heard from him before. Christopher Cole says 6 more days until kickoff. We're in the ship. Sean says, let's go Bucs. Eric again. Fire cannons, let's rock out. Bring the chip home. So I'll go ahead and fire those cannons right there. Eric says again, back to Tampa. Fire the cannons, so we shall. We're also give you this right here. Woo! Sure, for all the Bucs fans out there feeling good about it, let me go out to the phone lines. Ed from Palm Harbor, welcome to the Evolution. What's on your mind?
I've been listening to your show. The first guy that came on there made his prediction. I don't like it.
No, well,
if it was me editing the show, I would just dump that all out.
Yeah, we can't do that, man. Everybody has to have an opinion on the show, a different perspective than everybody else. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be right, but that's how he feels, so we'll put it out there.
Yeah, I think the Bucs are going to win this game.
Okay.
I think people have been underestimating the Bucs too long, and they're going to get an education that it's not a good idea to underestimate.
Well, I agree with you on that. I think the Bucs
I think they're catching the Chiefs at the right time too.
I do too, especially with both of their starting tackles being out of this game. Then on top of it, a defense that's not very good. I don't think they're a very good defense. They have some talent. It's not like they're talentless. You still have a Chris Jones. You still have a Frank Clark and a Honey Badger. But besides that, this is a team that I believe if the Bucs give the necessary time to Brady, they could be picked apart. And also you use that running game. You have to run the ball with a playoff Lenny or the victim of volume. Yeah, that's right. There you go. All right. What else, Ed?
So what's his name is mentioning Patrick Mahomes is hurt. What's wrong with him?
Well, he had a concussion. He's not hurt. He's coming off a concussion a couple weeks ago, but he's healthy. Is everything that I've
clear
heard.
To play?
Yeah, he's cleared to play.
Damn.
He played against Buffalo. He had the concussion versus the Browns. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's great news. I guess I don't know.
Well, I want everyone to be healthy because I don't want any excuses. I don't want to hear any of the national media or anybody else say, well, Patrick Mahomes wasn't healthy, so that's why you won. No, I want everybody on deck. I want everybody healthy, so there is no excuses. So the Bucs get the Chiefs' best, and the Chiefs get the Bucs' best.
The Bucs whip the Chiefs. You think there's going to be a deflate gate or some kind
of
thing that goes on?
No gates. I'm tired of gates. I'm tired of politics. I'm tired of all that nonsense. That's what you hear in politics. Gates this, gate that, gate this.
So
gate it. Get it out of here.
Fantasy that didn't happen?
I wouldn't say that. I definitely think the NFL knew and some of that stuff did happen because the Patriots are trying to push the boundaries, if you will. I think some of the stuff happened, but did it really make a difference if the football was deflated or not? No, not to me. They blew out the Colts. I mean, why do you do it in the first place? I have no idea, but you know,
I don't know why you would do it. I don't know how that would benefit Brady.
Well, I don't think it benefits Brady at all, whether he has a deflated football or not. It's still got to get it done. I mean, they blew out the Colts. It wasn't a big deal. Everybody made it a big deal. I get it. It's still cheating to a certain degree if it happened, and we don't know if it happened. We assume because of the suspension that was laid out by Goodell in the NFL on Brady. But at the end of the day, I just don't want to hear any gates or anything. Well, this is the reason why they won. The reason why they won is they were the best team. They had the best players. They executed the best. That's the key. So,
I mean, if they beat the Saints, I mean, that should be, I don't know. Can you really say the Saints are as good a team, if not better, than
I think the Saints are a better defense. I think the Saints are a better defense than the Packers, and they beat the Packers. And I think the Saints and Packers defenses are better than Kansas City. But who knows? Kansas City could have a great supreme effort, and they have to have a supreme effort. It's a tough offense they're going to have to face in Tom Brady and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. If he's healthy, it looks like he'll play in this game, and Scotty Miller. And of course, the running attack, and we've talked about it all year long. I mean, this is the matchup right here.
So
the Bucs
thing
want.
They're going to have to do, I think, the key to the game is they're going to have to contain Mahomes.
Right.
They can't let him get outside.
I agree
because he'll kill him.
I agree.
He'll just destroy the. We just don't have that great of a secondary.
Well, I think the secondary, I disagree with you. I think the secondary is stepped up. I do, but you're exactly right.
Better, yeah.
Right.
But are they able to handle Hill and Holmes when he's out on the perimeter? No, I don't.
It's tough.
So.
It's tough.
I think you have to. If you're gonna blitz, you need to come from the outside and just like collapse the pocket on him. Is what you got to do.
Guys got to do their jobs. That's what it comes down to. Yep. And I know it's simplistic, but when Mahomes gets outside of the pocket,
have to force some turnovers.
Agree,
definitely
agree. And they've done that in these first. They've done it in these first big time matchups versus the Saints and the Packers. So, do you doubt it? I definitely. If you pressure Mahomes, and I think they can get after a Patrick Mahomes. I do. I like this matchup versus this offensive line. Now, continue to go back to it when you're missing both of your starting tackles. And you're not that great of a line in the first place, I definitely think you can get after a Patrick Mahomes and force him into some throws that you don't necessarily want to make. And that's where you see those interceptions and turnovers happen. And we saw it in the first matchup. We saw the Bucs get to him and cause a fumble. So it could definitely happen again.
They're going to have to do a lot more of that.
Well, they're definitely going to have to do that. I agree with you.
They're going to have to step up.
Definitely. I agree.
Also, I heard a rumor that Brady wants to sign a contract extension?
No, I've not heard any rumor like that. The only thing that was being talked about is him playing after he's 45. And right now he's in peak condition and he's played at a top level. And he even talked about today where he, if he feels like he's ready to walk away, just paraphrasing it, he will if he's not any good to a team. But right now he feels like he's playing at his best level. So we'll see how that works out, but I would expect him to fulfill that contract. I don't expect him to retire. And then, of course, Bruce Arians' comments about a week ago on WDAE saying, I'm not going to retire. I'm going to come back and try to win a second one. So all hands are on deck on this team. If they win the Super Bowl, which I would expect them to do against the Chiefs, they're going to try to run it back next year. Now, of course, they have some decisions to make and free agency and some guys that they're going to sign. And you hope that they can, get everybody signed. But, there's always that possibility that they won't sign everybody.
We'll have to have a show and break down free agency.
Well, let's not do that yet. We got 6 days until the Super Bowl 55.
Yeah,
what
next
else?
week.
What else,
After
Ed?
the Super Bowl, yeah. I'm going to go to the fan experience. Have you gone there yet?
I have not gone there yet. I've been working and trying to be a host of an evolution of sports talk television, so I haven't had a chance.
You do an excellent job.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Webhead. Appreciate you.
So, and I guess that's it. Fire them cannons, and I'll call.
All right, my friend. Let me give you a woo right there. Good stuff. Thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate you. All right. Good stuff. All right. Let me go ahead and read these comments, and then I'll go out to my professional handicapper, which, by the way, 88%. But I'm going to start calling him Nostradamus because he said something. I was trying to find the clip, but if you watch Friday's show, you watched Wednesday's show, you know what I'm talking about. We'll get into that. Fournette, 2 touchdowns, 125 yards. That'd be great. What's up, dude? What's going on, Dominic? That's the key. Play, control the clock, keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. Donald says we need to be able to expose their offensive line. Agree with you on that. Ben says, what's up, Peter? So pumped for this weekend. Can't wait to dethrone the Chiefs. It's our time. Sean says, I'm looking at the defense of Tampa versus offense of KC. That's another big-time matchup. That's the matchup I continue to look at that people overlook. Did you watch the game versus the Saints? Did you watch the game versus the Packers? Did you see them get after those all-star quarterbacks? Did you see them cause turnovers? When you can do that, I don't care how potent of an offense you have, you're going to get some turnovers. You're going to get some chances, and I think that's where the matchup lies, in my opinion. Our defense is going to eat if the center doesn't play also, but they can still play if negative test Sunday report said. Adam says our pass rush is going to get to Mahomes, baby. Let's go. I like it. The team Jameis built, laugh my ass off. Must be an FSU fan. Ben Parrish says our defense is going to eat. Eric says Bucs defense going to win us the game. Edward says, what's up, Peter H. Blake? What's up? Ron says, Mr. Peter Blake, Bucs Nation, and all Bucs Report family. How you guys doing? Let me go ahead and fire the cannons. Let's go out to Sean. Let Brady cook. Sean says, still here, still working. Let's go, Bucs. Tony says, 37-34 Bucs. Johnny Dean. Let's be real. The Super Bowl 55 is going to be historic, not just because of the Buccaneers, but because the entire season this year, the matchup in this game alone would live in NFL history, and all the other variables that have created this moment are unheard of. So everyone, all football fans really need to sit back, soak this time up, and print each moment, every second of what you're witnessing this Sunday. Talk about big moments. This is going to be the biggest game of these. Good stuff, Johnny Dean, the professor. Henney is one of the best technical quarterbacks in the league. What he can't do is improvise like Mahomes. Rick says, not many chatting. Well, I mean, you're chatting, Rick, so there you go. Rays are basically a farm team for the rest of Major League Baseball, and I hate it. We develop talent and let them go. Todd says, love my dugout mugs. Todd, thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Landon says, let's go, Bucs. Landon again. Peter, Super Bowl. Absolutely. What do we say, fans? At the beginning of March, Super Bowl or bust. I'll continue to say it. I'll continue to pat myself on the back, and I will continue to do this once the Bucs prove me right as the genius you know here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, Peter H. Blake. How about that? All right, Bucs win by 6, 34-28. We'll see. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, well, then I'm right. I heard the Chiefs lost their center wide receiver to COVID today. Logan says this guy on the phone is a goof. Laugh out loud. I don't know who that is, but you can get on the phone lines and be a goof too. If you want to be a goof, if you want to be serious, if you want to be sad, if you want to bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense, because you can be whatever you want to be when you're a webhead. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Let me go out to Johnny Dean, the professor. Welcome to the evolution. Only 6 days away from Super Bowl 55 between your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Kansas City Chiefs. Your thoughts?
I want to know, can you drop the bus now that they're there?
Can I do what?
Can you drop the bus now?
Well, you know what I meant with the bust. I mean, Bruce Arians was saying it too.
I'm picking
So
at you, Peter.
I know you are. I know you are. And guess what? This is what I'm going over to you right there. I know. We go back and forth on this, but you're exactly right.
Take the win. Take the win, buddy.
Yes.
Because you got to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I'll take it. I want to finish it though. I want the Bucs to finish this. And I think they have an opportunity to finish it. I do. I like the matchup.
Man, I am thankful that I've lived long enough to see this moment in time.
Well, my friend, we only got 6 days, and after this night, it's going to be 5 days. So you hang in there, and this is great. This is great for all Bucs fans out there. I really feel good about it.
I believe there are going to be and it's going to be a few years from now, of course, but I believe there's going to be quite a few Hall of Famers coming out of this game. This game is going to be the new greatest football game of ever. You know what I mean?
Well, I hope it definitely lives up to the hype.
It's tagged that way in history because the matchups in this game are outstanding. This is the torchbearer game, I guess you would call it. The old goat versus the young goat. The two best tight ends in the league against each other. Man, the matchups. Peter, man, this game, the NFL couldn't have planned this any better.
Perfect matchup.
A number 5 seed coming in against the number 1 seed. There's so many storylines, man. Bucs Report's going to be writing stories all year on this.
We are. We're going to be writing stories all year long. We're going to have shows all year long. We're going to ramp up these shows, if you will. Eventually, instead of 3 shows, maybe we'll go 4 shows a week. But we kind of do 7 shows a week, don't we? 7 or 8 shows every week here on the Sports Web alone with our pre-half and post-game edition. Again, get out to the Deck Bar and Grill if you want to have some type of Bucs tailgating experience at a great place that has great food, great service. It's the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla de Sol. And tell them once again that Bucs Report, the Sports Web, and Peter Blake sent you. We'll be starting off, I think about 2:30 because the game starts at 6:30. So I definitely think we can get about 3 or 4 hours of pre-game show in, get everybody revved up for it.
Easily. NFL Network's doing 8. I'm quite sure you can hang with them any day of the week.
Well,
man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Let me
Mr.
go ahead.
Endurance there, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've done draft shows longer than that, haven't we?
I'll give another Bucs Report guy a shout out.
Yes.
Joshua Allen did really good with those interviews today.
Yes, he did, and we'll have some of those. I meant to have the Brady sound, but didn't get a chance to have it. You know, it's Manic Monday, so we'll have that sound. If we don't get it on Wednesday, we'll have it on Friday. If we don't get it on Friday, we'll definitely have it for that pre-show, but I will be working extra overtime with all the editing that we'll have to do with those sound bites from specific players, namely a Tom Brady, a Rob Gronkowski. But you're exactly right. Great job, Joshua Cole Allen here on Bucs Report, getting that great sound that will reveal to you guys here, the webheads on the Sports Web.
And Peter, you just keep up the good work, man.
I appreciate
knocking it out of the ballpark all year.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. The Professor, you're one of my favorite guys to call the phone, one of my favorite webheads, an integral part of the Sports Web. He was here from the very beginning, even when the Bucs were losing and all that talk about Jameis Winston and bad defenses. He was here. And now we're here together just 6 days away for Super Bowl 55. Appreciate you, boss. All right?
All right, bud. Later on.
Later. All right, there you go. Mr. Johnny Dean, the Professor. Let me go ahead and give him a note right there. Love that. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Bucs win by 6, 34-28. Rick, again, I heard the Chiefs lost their center and wide receiver to COVID today. They're on the COVID list. This guy on the phone is a goof. Okay, we read that. So once again, you guys can be whatever you want to be on the phone lines. Just don't curse. You know, try to keep it somewhat civilized. Don't yell at me if we're debating. Don't say stupid stuff. ESPN and all the media sources involved in all the Deflategate story have officially retracted the story. They simply ran with the story, which was not true, and they admitted it years later. Eric Scott says, I don't want the Bucs getting burned on those triple reversed, underhanded, flippy, dippy, doo-dah plays that the Chiefs love to run. Let's go out to Curtis from Newport Richie. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution, 6 days away from Super Bowl 55. Your thoughts?
Man, I am super relaxed right now.
Super relaxed. Okay. You weren't the other night now. Still partying?
Well, I was. I was a little messed up, man. But,
right. Well, that's okay. Right. That's all right.
I'm all right, though. I'm passionate about my Buccaneers.
Okay? PSA, you can be passionate about the Bucs.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this to all my Bucs fans. I watched the whole game when we got destroyed by the Saints.
Yeah.
I watched the whole game. It was hard and it was painful.
Sure.
I felt like crying.
Sure.
But I watched the whole game. That's just a Bucs fan that I am.
You know why you watched the whole game? Because now you appreciate it even that much more after they disposed of the Saints and they disposed of the Packers.
Yep.
So.
No, man, I'm just super excited. This is actually a great week for me, man. My birthday is the day before the Super Bowl, and I'm just going to coast into this week confident and cocky. And I actually think Ronald Jones is actually going to have a big game.
No, the victim of volume, you don't say. Well, I've been waiting. I'll tell you right now, I've been pleasantly surprised with playoff Lenny. But look, we kind of knew he had the potential to do this. He was a 1,000-yard rusher in the league for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We knew we could catch. We knew he could do all those things. That's why the Bucs picked him up in the first place. And if he's the hot hand, you run with the hot hand. I would not be surprised if the victim of volume and a Ronald Jones, and he still is a victim of volume there. I don't care what your producer says there, Mr. Rick Hughes. He still is a victim of volume in my book.
I know you got my boy Harry coming on soon.
Yes,
so
we got to get him on here. I could see him there. He's going to start doing dances and mooning me and everything else, and I can't deal with that anymore. Oh, here he goes. But he should be dancing. The prediction he made the other night on Wednesday and Friday, and if you bet it, Matt Stafford being traded before the Super Bowl, he was exactly right, and he's doing his dance right now. So, Curtis, what else?
Yep. Well, all I'm going to say is this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going for Ronald Jones to break Michael Pittman's rushing record in the Super Bowl.
124 yards. That's certainly possible, is it not? Is it not possible, Bucs fans? It's absolutely possible. All right, Curtis, I like it. I like it a lot. Definitely join me here on Bucs Report on the Sports Web. And if you want to come out to the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla, definitely get your ass out there, all right?
All right, bro.
All right, let me go ahead and fire those cannons from you right there. And we will give them this right there. Love it. I think that's how everybody is feeling right now. Let me read the rest of these comments, and then I will go on to my professional handicapper. Let's see here. Rick H. says, Vea is back for this game, was out week 12 against the Chiefs. Bingo. Bingo, bango. That's your point. That's the X factor, in my opinion, on this defensive line. Brady said today, win or lose, he'll be back next year and would like to stay until he's 45 or possibly longer. And why not, Rick? If he's playing at a high level like he is, who's to doubt him, honestly? Goodell went back to court on appeal and claimed that. Eric Scott says Shaq, JPP, or D. White's going to be Super Bowl MVP. Could be Brady. Would be really cool to see Brady win the MVP as well. Bucs time 12. Goodell went back to court under appeal a year later, claimed that under the CBA agreement, he was allowed to punish a player without any proof of wrongdoing. He won the appeal under a technicality. Bucs time 12. Brady was suspended without proof because Goodell was allowed to by the CBA. Good point. Want everyone healthy, as is like Peter said, no excuses. Eric Scott says Peter would rather us have the ball first or defer or have the first possession in the second half. I want the ball first. I want to go down and score a touchdown. Who said that in the playoff game? Was that Matt Hasselbeck? That didn't turn out too well. But usually with this aggressive nature that Brady and this offense and Bruce Arians has had, I like taking the ball first, getting the Chiefs down early. I like being aggressive, not that possession in the second half. Johnny Dean, absolutely good stuff there. Eric Scott says anyone on the Bucs get 2 sacks, we win. Eric Scott, don't get discouraged if we don't score first. Don't believe me. Go back and watch our first Super Bowl Absolutely. And if he's mooting you, Pete, you know they don't call him Harry for no reason. And why do we have to go that direction? Let's go ahead and get our professional handicapper on. Harry the Greek, Mr. 88%, 89%, 90% going up by the second, the minute, the hour, the month. And you talked about it, Harry. Matt Stafford would be traded before the Super Bowl. And sure enough, on Saturday night, lo and behold, in Cabo, Mexico, Matt Stafford was seen with Sean McVay. The deal was done. Your thoughts?
I don't know what else to say. I actually said it'd probably be done before the end of the week, and it was. My thoughts, I think I think that the Detroit Lions got a really good deal in this trade. Extraordinary deal. The picks that they're going to get, it's just unbelievable. And don't think they're quite done yet, because I got a funny feeling, and I'm hearing that there could be a possibility that they might be moving their quarterback for additional draft picks. Possibly. I'm just throwing it out there if there's any suitors.
So Jared Goff is not long to be a Lion, you're thinking, huh? They took on that big-time salary, so I guess it would make sense. I mean, it's a total full rebuild. Why do you think the Rams lost so much confidence in Jared Goff? It was only a couple years ago where they paid him that big-time $100 million, and now they lost confidence. Why did they lose confidence, in your opinion?
Well, let's be honest. His play hasn't been up to par. In the past couple of years, he's been up and down. It's been a total roller coaster. But if you're a National Enquirer kind of media guy, and I'm not saying this to be true, and I'm not trying to start rumors, but apparently there was speculation and rumors that it had something to do with Sean McVay's wife. And Jared Goff had made some comments, something that were a little sexually explicit. And whether it was true or not, I don't know. And I think McVay had something to do with it. But that hasn't been proven yet, but there's some pretty reliable sources saying that actually happened.
How do you look at this trade from the Rams standpoint? I mean, it's kind of like they're copying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers twice, because people don't think about this. The Bucs did this before. They did this with Brad Johnson. They got to the NFC Championship with the Sean King. They felt like they couldn't do anything after that with King. They went after Brad Johnson. Eventually, they won the Super Bowl. Now the Bucs with Tom Brady getting a veteran presence like a Matt Stafford. Does now Stafford put them over the top? And how risky is it for him to play the quarterback position with being injury prone, also messing up his back?
Matthew Stafford hasn't been healthy the past couple of years, but probably arguably one of the most underrated quarterbacks in all of football. The man's got wheels. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's a smart quarterback. He can make every single throw there is on a football field. And yes, the Rams are trying to win now. But let me be really clear on something. If he goes down, or Aaron Donald, or they lose a couple of their starting wide receivers, this team could fall downhill very quickly. And before they get their next first-round pick, it'll be 7 years total time since they've had a first-round pick. So if they don't win this year coming up or the following year, they're done.
So basically, it's Super Bowl or bust for this team, in your opinion.
Without question, it's Super Bowl or bust. Without question. But how is Matthew Stafford going to, coincide with that type of McVay offense? Do I think he's going to do well? Probably. But he's more of a deep ball thrower. He's not more of a dink and dunk kind of guy. He likes to get things downfield. He's more of a Brett Favre type of quarterback. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, the age there, you're kind of worried about that. But again, you're giving up 2 first-round picks, and a third-round pick. So that's a lot to give up. If you don't do anything with it, then it could be a complete disaster. You look at the Houston Texans and the picks they traded for Laramie Tunsil. Now that's coming back to bite them. Speaking of the Texans, how much does this increase Deshaun Watson's value, in your opinion? Is it 3 first-round picks to start?
I have no idea. But there were speculations that there were other teams that were involved. I know the Carolina Panthers were involved in the Matthew Stafford trade. We'll get back to Deshaun Watson really quick. I know the Chicago Bears were. Chicago, from what I understand, offered 2 number 1 draft picks, a third-rounder, and 2 starting defensive players. One of them was Kyle Fuller.
And the Lions didn't take that.
Did not take it. They actually had a better deal from Chicago, but they did not want him going to the Chicago Bears.
Wow, that's amazing. 2 defensive starters, 2 first-round picks.
And because of what Carolina did,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think now that they're going to be in the sweepstakes for Deshaun Watson. Now, I heard your other gentleman that came on the show. I couldn't remember his name, pardon me. But he says he didn't think that Deshaun Watson wasn't going anywhere. He very well may not. He may actually sit out the entire year, but I can assure you one thing, he won't play for them. This is the word that's, that's really, really, that's the narrative with it. So they're kind of in a stalemate. So does the player get his wish? Is he going to push management to finally trade him? Or does management become stubborn and say, hey, you don't want to play in the prime of your career? Go ahead and sit. I don't know what's going to happen there. And J.J. Watt's also been the same way. But what do I think the chances are? I still think he's leaving Houston. And I think he's going to get an exorbitant. I think Houston's going to get an exorbitant amount of draft picks, and they're going to get better quick. Even with him leaving, because the amount of draft picks they're going to get. But I feel sorry for the team that's going to do it. And he's going to have to go to a particular offensive style game plan. If he goes to an offense that, like let's just say New England, they're not a real mobile team that way. That's not a Bill Belichick style of offense. So I don't think he would fit very well. I don't think he'd fit very well in Chicago, because just like Mitchell Trubisky, look, Chicago's coaching staff does not like mobile quarterbacks. They want someone to sit in the pocket, occasionally roll out. That's not Trubisky, and that is definitely not Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson does his best work from where? On the run.
Right. You're exactly right. We're on with our professional handicapper, Mr. Harry the Greek. Did you hear the report of supposedly the Green Bay Packers being interested in Matt Stafford?
No, I didn't hear that report. I did hear that Green Bay supposedly inquired. You know what? Wait a minute. Green Bay was interested in somebody. They tried to make a play for him, and then Green Bay said they vehemently denied that it was all false allegations.
Sure, because of the Rodgers stuff, and you kind of wonder how that's going to work out. Now, speaking about a quarterback that's
no, I know what it was now. It was the Rams that were interested in Aaron Rodgers, and that's what came out. And the Green Bay Packers said, no, that is not true. That never happened. As far as the Matthew Stafford, I have no idea. I didn't think that was even in the plan. And you know what? That's probably a bunch of horsecock, to be honest with you, because if you've already got Aaron Rodgers, what do you want Matthew Stafford for? And plus, you just drafted Jordan Love.
Right.
Well, why would they even want to take that?
And I definitely think you're right about that. I think it was LA that was inquiring about Aaron Rodgers. LA better upgrade Rodgers or Stafford, in your opinion?
Anytime you get a chance to get an Aaron Rodgers, on your football team, you're going to become instantly better.
Right.
But Matthew Stafford, I think in the right system, and I think this just might be the right system for him, you're going to really find out how good he is. God willing, he stays healthy. And he hasn't been able to do that for about 3 straight years, and that back's been bothering him. But I'm going to tell you now, Peter, I don't think I've seen a bigger baller out there than him. I remember that one Chicago game, he was coming out on one leg. It was that bad. He did not want to get off the field.
And we're on again with Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper. The perfect place for Deshaun Watson, in my opinion, would be the Miami Dolphins. And this is why, because they have Tua, didn't necessarily play so well. To me, Miami's only one quarterback away. I'm not sure if Tua is the guy. If Miami wants to trade Tua, you trade a couple of first-round picks, possibly Houston's pick back to him, and then you get a Watson who most likely will solidify your offense. Could you see that happening? To me, that seems like the perfect scenario at this point. And even Tua was talking on Mad Dog Radio today, saying in so many words, I can only try to be a franchise quarterback. I can't do anything about the rumors. So where there's smoke, there's fire. Are the Miami Dolphins, in your opinion, the number one candidate? Or once again, does it come down to the New York Jets making this deal because, consequently, they have the assets to do it?
The Jets have the most room to do something, and I still don't see him going to the Jets. And I could be totally wrong. I was talking with Rick Hughes earlier today, and he did make sense with one thing that he did mention. It's about marketing. Mm-hmm. You're in the largest market in the entire country. Okay, albeit they're always going to be in second place to the New York Giants. But how big would that be if the Jets were to acquire Deshaun Watson? But from a smart standpoint, you have an excellent quarterback there. You just need to surround him with the weapons. If I were the Jets, personally, I would trade that number 2 pick up a little later draft pick in the first round, and then pick up additional picks this year and for next year. Because there's nothing wrong with Sam Darnold. Nothing at all. If you get him protection on that offensive line and put a couple of weapons in there and trade for somebody for just a couple of mid-tier draft picks, I think they're going to be just fine. I honestly think that San Francisco is going to be the leader of it. And I know I debunked that when you and I were talking off air one time, but it made a lot of sense. And then after doing a little bit of reading and from what I'm understanding and what I'm hearing, Joey Bosa might be in play in this as well.
Wow. Joey Bosa. Well, he never.
Plus 2 first-round draft picks, possibly even a third.
Well, I think you mean Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa's
I'm
definitely.
sorry, that's right, Nick Bosa, not Joey.
Nick would be his brother, and of course he's coming off the big-time injury there. So Nick Bosa and a couple picks for Deshaun Watson. I'll do that all day long. And then basically you can get rid of J.J. Watt and let him go wherever he wants to. It's been talked about already, J.J. Watt in a Buccaneer uniform. How likely could you see that?
You know what? That's a strong possibility because Ndamukong Suh, I don't see them being able to retain him for next year. There's also ties that J.J. Watt goes to the Chicago Bears as well. With Deshaun Watson, if they turn around and got Nick Foles, Robert Quinn, and or Khalil Mack in 3 first-round draft picks.
Jeez.
You know, I mean, you're just selling the farm, you know, to try to get one particular player. And I just can't see not one player just being worth all those draft picks and plus all the starters as well. I mean, that potentially could go down as the biggest trade in NFL history, even bigger than the one in Herschel Walker. I mean, really think about that.
Yeah. I mean, and that was a train robbery that definitely worked out for the Dallas Cowboys later on. From the impact at the beginning of it, it seemed like the Vikings got the better deal because of Herschel Walker. But if you look down the road with all the picks that the Vikings gave up to the Cowboys, it definitely, that was one of the reasons, or the main reason why Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys did so well. They converted those picks in so many ways. We're on more professional handicapper, Mr. Harry the Greek. Let's see.
No, I want to make one little more quick point.
Yeah, sure.
And really put things into perspective. Everybody out there thinks that Deshaun Watson, and even I think, is a better quarterback than Mitchell Trubisky. But think about this. They both came out of college. They were drafted in the same class. If I'm not mistaken, they both have the identical amount of wins. Think about that for a second. And you're willing to give up 3 first-rounders and a couple of players that are starting that are premier players.
Yeah, but
let that sink in.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of that, the whole talk is wins and losses, and that's not always a fair statistic. I get it. You judge that with quarterbacks, but the Texans, even with not having the weapons, not having his main weapon, he still was able to throw for over 4,000 yards. He's a dynamic quarterback who has shown at times that he can be one of the best in the league. He has a skill set that a lot of teams are definitely going to pay top market for.
I agree with that, but you also have to understand when you're playing from behind, like the Houston Texans did this year, and you played with no defense, you were constantly throwing the football. You're not getting back in the game by running the football.
Well,
so that's a little bit skewed as well.
Well,
I'm not taking anything away from Deshaun Watson. We're not talking about Steve Young in his prime.
Right.
We're not talking about Joe Montana, Dan Marino, or even Tom Brady for that fact. Do you think Tom Brady was going to command 10 years ago 3 first-round draft picks and 2 other players? The first person that would have offered the New England Patriots 3 first-rounders, 2 defensive starters, and possibly in another pick, Brady would have been gone.
Well, that would have been a mistake. That would have been a mistake by that ownership, but I know Robert Kraft.
But you know what I'm saying.
Right. I get what you're saying. But at the end of the day, with all that talk of not having a running game, not having a defense, still a quarterback is able to put up these type of numbers is amazing. Let's go out to Johnny Dean here. 2 X factors, Vea and O-line. Can't forget this O-line is playing at a all-pro level. And while everyone knows Vea's impact, I mean, to me, that's the X factor of this defense, and I keep on circling back to it. And now comes word from Adam Schefter that the center and, of course, Demarcus Robinson have been put on the COVID list again via Adam Schefter of ESPN.com. The Chiefs have placed Demarcus Robinson and center Daniel Kilgore on the COVID-19 reserve list. The good news is that the designation happened because of close contact with a person who has the virus and not a positive test. But if you lose your center and a Kilgore, I mean, that's a kill shot, isn't it, to that offensive line?
Without question, the line's starting to reflect it too. There's no juice on it. Tampa Bay still getting 3.5 points. 2-3 days ago, you were having to lay 120 to win 100 and taking the 3.5 points. Now they're begging Tampa to take the 3.5 because now there's no juice whatsoever. So it's a straight 100 for 100. That line's going to go to 3 points real soon.
Yeah, I think it is too. And if it goes to 2.5, what do we say? That 88% rule. If the home team is the underdog, you take them all day long. And I feel like taking the Bucs just because of the Vea aspect. And then once again, those two starting tackles being out, and a Schwartz on the right side, and of course an Eric Fisher. I think it's going to be eating time for Shaq Barrett. And of course, JPP, and Shaq knows how important this edge rush is going to be. He was a part of the Denver Broncos that stifled a Cam Newton in 2015. He knows how important it's going to be, and that's what you have to do to a Patrick Mahomes. You can't let him get outside of the pocket, because when he gets outside of the pocket, he can make so many things happen. He is definitely an improviser that can make you look stupid if you don't do your job.
Without question, but Tampa's defense is still going to get after him. Okay?
Yeah.
When you're missing 2 offensive linemen, possibly even a center now, making a 3rd offensive lineman out, as we were alluding to from before, that's kind of going to be in favor for Tampa's defensive line, including their linebackers. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's definitely going to make the Kansas City Chiefs a little bit more one-dimensional, because now you're going to force both tight ends to sit in the backfield to go ahead and try to chip and block, because Tampa does blitz that much. Now, this is a game that Tampa does want to blitz, because that is definitely going to force Kelsey to sit in the backfield to try to block a little bit more, and he may not be that big of a factor. They may have to run a fullback or even keep the running backs in the backfield to try to help out with that. I don't think that Tampa needs to send it all the way through with their blitzes. I think they need to do a lot of containment and try to keep Mahomes in the pocket, because you know just as well as I do, when Mahomes is flushed out of the pocket, 99% of the times he likes to roll to the right. Well, the field gets more narrow. That's when he becomes more dangerous. But if you can put pressure over the top of him and you get him to move to his left a little bit, that's when he's going to make a lot of mistakes. I honestly have Tampa's defense coming up big in this game. I'm not saying they're going to have a dozen sacks or anything like that, but you're going to see a lot of quarterback hurries. You're going to notice Patrick Mahomes drop his head down and then put the ball down. And when that happens, as fast as the linebackers are for Tampa, that could spell a lot of problems. A lot of things are favoring the Buccaneers in this game, even though they are underdogs.
Yeah, and Brady even talked about being an underdog, and how most Super Bowls he's always the favorite. So I think this team has kind of embraced it. Honestly, they've embraced being an underdog. They've embraced with being told they weren't going to beat the Saints. Even the Washington football team, there were national pundits out there saying there's no way they're going to beat the Washington football team. There's no way they're going to beat the Saints. There's no way they're going to beat the Packers. And they've done all 3 of those things in this postseason. So,
well, they were favored in Washington by 7. They were underdogs in New Orleans. They were underdogs going into Green Bay. They deservingly need to be an underdog in this game, because let's face it, it's not a popular opinion, but these are the facts. The Kansas City Chiefs, 14-2, reigning Super Bowl champions.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in a neutral field, and the line is right. It's 3.5. And here's where it's really going to upset some people. If this wasn't a neutral playing field, the Kansas City Chiefs would be favored by a touchdown in this game.
Wow.
Okay. But then again, that's the way the money is flowing. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to happen. When you have people that are breaking the games down, like myself, yourself, Johnny Dean, and a lot of other people out there that like to watch football, they look at matchups. Statistics are exactly what they are. They don't mean anything. Just like when the playoffs started. They just don't mean anything.
Yeah.
I think Tampa could win this game. Absolutely. Can I see Tampa losing this game? Absolutely. I'm not trying to speak out of both sides of my mouth, but when the final injury report comes out, or just a preliminary one, I'm going to go ahead and give a pick which way I think people should go with it. It's probably going to be Wednesday, no later than Friday, but I am really leaning towards Tampa. But I can also tell you one thing, play the over in this game. It's 56.5 points. It's still there. It hasn't moved, not even a half point. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game.
So you don't expect a defensive stalemate, if you will, where both teams know each other's offenses, and the Bucs defense is going to be tough. Kansas City's offense is going to be tough. You think, of course, it's going to be a shootout. It lives up to that hype.
No, I don't think it's going to be necessarily a shootout. But do I think you're going to hold Kansas City to under 24 or 25 points? No, I don't. Okay, so even if it's 28-28, it's still 56 points.
Sure.
So if you win 31 to say 27, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
The game goes over. I think the first half, though, is going to be not that high scoring. I think the fireworks are going to go off in the second half. And it was very apparent. I'm going to give you another example why. When they were playing the Green Bay Packers and they were up by 11 at halftime, during the halftime show, I was clamoring for the Buccaneers to go ahead and play defense, which they did, but to please run the football. Don't make any stupid mistakes. Next thing you know, turnover. You're up by 11. You were up by 18 at one point. Could have won the game by 18 to 24 points. But they decided that they were going to continue to pass the football. Well, you know what? They're not a running football team like they were. Not saying that they're not going to run the football. They like to pass the ball, rightfully so, because when you have Godwin, Scotty Miller, Evans, and Gronkowski, and you can just keep going on and on and on, you can't help yourself but to want to throw the ball. And against this defense, God, they're going to have a field day against Kansas City's defense. The question is, are they going to be able to protect Mahomes, and will they have success? Period. Because Tampa's defense is going to be the entire key in this game. It's not Tampa's offense. It's going to be Kansas City's defense. Are they going to have success against Tampa's offense? And I just don't see that happening.
I don't see it either. I think it's the biggest mismatch in this game besides, again, Vita Vea versus that defensive line and the impact of those outside rushers without the.
Can you imagine if the center's not playing and Vita's in the game? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go out to Willow here. Hello, Peter and Harry. Go Buccaneers. And she says, woo. Woo! There we go. So Johnny Dean, I've heard that also, Harry Berg. Johnny says Detroit is going to be a very busy offseason. Willow says, why did LA pay so much for Stafford when they had Wolf? I don't think it's his name. Is this his name Wolfson? Why did they pay so much? I mean, it's obvious they wanted to upgrade that quarterback position. And
listen, you can't compare Jared Goff to Matthew Stafford.
Right.
Okay. And by the way, this was the first time that 2 overall number 1 draft picks have been traded. Okay. I don't know if people knew that or not. It was the first time in the NFL history that 2 first-round draft picks, first picks overall, have been traded, and they were quarterbacks.
I had no idea of that.
Opposing teams.
Yeah.
But Jared Goff he's a very serviceable quarterback. I think he's a game manager type of quarterback. I think he needs to be in an offense that is very gimmicky, a lot of east and west, a lot of misdirection. He's not Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford just made the Rams an absolute contender as long as they stay healthy. So I don't care if he asks for even more money. He's worth every penny.
All right, and that's what it comes down to, health. Let's see here. Stafford is an upgrade. Bucs time 12. Goff said on social media he wanted to lay pipe with McVay's wife, and Blake Anthony showed the tweet on Sports Talk 49 today. So there you go. Of course, it can be seen on Monday and Fridays here at 3 o'clock on Bucs Report. The price on Watson started at 3 first-round picks. I agree. Gerardo, Texas, says he sucks. I don't know who that is. Johnny Dean says the Jets. Bucs time 12. Blake Anthony scooped the golf story big time today. Johnny Dean said Green Bay and Rodgers came out today stating Rodgers will be in Green Bay next season. Do you buy that?
Oh, Rodgers?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not going anywhere.
You don't think he's not going anywhere?
No, they got one more year with him before.
Even when drafting Jordan Love?
Even though drafting Jordan Love, they got one more year on the bench, and that's it.
Okay.
That's it. And, and they know still next year if they can keep Aaron Rodgers healthy, they'll still be able to get a first rounder for him, maybe another mid or a late round pick for him. Because honestly, he is starting to get up there in years. He's not like Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady at 37 still looked like most kids when they were 26, 27.
Yeah.
I mean, take a look at what happened to Matthew Stafford. What is he, 33 years old?
Yeah.
He don't run like he used to.
No, he doesn't.
No, he won't. That is a quarterback that will not be able to play till he's 40 years old. It just doesn't happen. Brady was a freak of nature. You know what, I guess, kids? Don't lift weights. Just take a look at Tom Brady's just his profile coming out of Michigan. I mean, I don't think the guy ever lifted a weight.
He's done some things to his body. I mean, look, he's not, big time.
Yeah, his wife, Giselle, trust me.
But well, it's the health program too. It's the TB12 we're on with our professional handicapper here being a smartass, Mr. Harry the Greek.
It's true. Right. She helps him. Just read it. Google it. Giselle helps him.
I know she does. I know she helps him with his workouts. Where does Fitzmagic go? Where do you think he goes? Did he stay in Miami? Does he go? Does he get an opportunity to finally start somewhere? Or is he what he is, a backup quarterback in this league?
He's getting up there in years, in quarterback years. I still think he's a hell of a quarterback. You can't help but not want to root for the bearded wonder. Okay, I mean, you just can't help but not want to root for the guy because everywhere he goes and the older he gets, I mean, this guy could probably play till he's 50 years old. I mean, especially if they just play him a half a season and they keep him upright. Sure. So I think he's in Miami. No, I think he ends up leaving. But he's probably going to be one of the last quarterbacks to go because he just doesn't have the marquee names.
True. And he's also inconsistent. He's a backup quarterback. I mean, I think he's played well in Miami. Maybe he stays in Miami because of that fact, and maybe he gets another opportunity. I think they're going with Tua unless they make a trade for Watson. Johnny Dean says Miami doesn't have the capital to get Watson. Jets are the most viable choice.
Big surprise. They do have the capital to get him, Johnny.
Oh, they do?
They have plenty of draft picks to go ahead and get them if they want them.
And
they've been stockpiling them for 3 years.
Of course they have. I mean, they got a first-round pick in the Fitzpatrick, and that was Mika Fitzpatrick, not Ryan Fitzpatrick, from the Steelers. They got plenty of picks, so I think they can make the deal. And if they want to make that deal and they feel like Tua is not the guy, I wouldn't be surprised with them making it just because of the NFL being an emulation league, right? I mean, Josh Rosen, the Arizona Cardinals, they draft him 10th overall. And yes, I said Josh Rosen. Yes.
Say it again one more time.
Josh Rosen. They drafted.
I feel better.
Yes. Okay. They drafted him 10th overall. And 1 year they said, you know what? We're going to draft Kyler Murray. It's kind of worked out for him, right? So the NFL is looking at that and they're saying, you know what? If we think Tua is not the guy, which he didn't really show a lot. Do you think that Tua is a starting quarterback in this league off of his body of work last year? I get it. Not a lot of body of work, but still a body of work. He had an opportunity to lead that offense to the playoffs, and he struggled mightily.
My opinion, yes and no.
Okay.
I think they brought him in too soon. I think Tua could develop into a very good quarterback in the National Football League, and I know a lot of people don't agree with me. I thought they just pushed him in a little bit too soon. Why they put him in after Fitzmagic was having the year that he was having is just totally beyond me. Again, he's coming off that pretty bad injury. I think he could have just rode the pine this entire year and not picked up the football. That's one coaching decision I did not agree with. And I think it would have been a little bit different. I think he needs one more year to see what the guy can do, and then you can make a decision like that.
All right, it's the Sports Web. Make the decision to call up on the phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Of course, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts.
God.
All your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Harry the Greek here, my professional handicapper. Yes, what's going on?
Can I just put one up there? I see it in the chat. I'll never do this. Just remember where you were at, okay?
Yep, go for it. Jared Goff makes Detroit better. He's a great quarterback. Where has he been a great quarterback?
Hold on. Look who wrote it. Look who wrote it, Peter.
Yeah, Brian, I don't get it, man. I honestly don't get how he makes them a better quarterback. I don't. Matt Stafford is a hell of a quarterback. The Lions have done a terrible job of putting weapons around him, much like they did with Barry Sanders, by the way, who was in early retirement. Why? Never had a quarterback, never had wide receivers. Okay, maybe a Herman Moore, but that's about it. How about Calvin Johnson? How many years Did Matt Stafford have just Calvin Johnson? Nothing else. They put nothing around him. The Lions are notorious for not giving their superstars the complementary weapons that the Bucs have given Tom Brady the weapons this year. And we'll get back to Tom Brady in a moment. Let's read these comments here. So Brian, once again, showing your ass as always. We read that. Please don't do that. We just said with the words there. Let's see. Johnny Dean. Watson is 3 times the quarterback Sam Darnold is, or Sam Mono is. I know what you meant there, Johnny. It's either JJ to Tampa or Pittsburgh with his brothers. Let me go out to Johnny Dean. Johnny Dean, you're on with yours truly, along with my professional handicapper, Harry the Greek. What do you have to say?
That didn't take long.
Down.
No. I just got to get that soundbite, don't I?
Strikes again.
Yes.
The Raging Cajun.
Guy. And I got to say, Brian Pearson, why didn't you show up for the show? You said you were going to. You didn't show up.
He did on this one twice.
He did on this one. He showed up on this show.
He's talking about Rick's show.
Oh, Rick's show, yeah.
Yeah, he missed the one where Rick was doing his thing.
Well, no, he likes to follow me though. Okay, you notice the pattern there, Dean, Johnny?
Yeah, he's trolling you, Harry.
Oh God, but I do kind of like the guy. I just don't get it.
I'm sorry to say it, but you and him carry that porn stash really well.
You carry the what?
Porn stash. Wow.
The porn stash.
You got too much stuff at your too many tools of ignorance, if you will, right there.
Brother,
huh?
You taught me well.
I did teach you well. There you go. And as long as you know that I taught you well, then that's all I need to know. All right, Johnny Dean, what else?
As far as, I don't know, you guys were talking about a draft capital with the Miami. Miami has trade capital, yes. They don't have the cap space to add another $30 million to their budget.
Well, I think they could certainly make some money.
They'd make room for them if they wanted them.
Work.
Yeah.
And if they're going to head-to-head battle with the Jets are going to win that all day long because they got twice as much.
I mean, but if I'm Deshaun Watson, would you want to play for the Jets or would you want to play for the Dolphins?
Well, if you want to get out of Texas that bad, as it seems like he wants to, you go there and you make the Jets. Look, man.
You want to play for the friggin' Jets? Come on.
Wait a minute here. Every team's bad until they're not. Who has the most losing percentage in football? Buccaneers, okay? Every team's bad until they're not, okay? And the Jets, New York's appealing to some people. The glamour, the glitz. He has a better chance of getting, what do they call the advertising?
Publicity, advertising, Fifth Avenue. Yeah, I get that. But do you want to win?
Miami's not too far behind them now.
Yeah, it's Miami. It's South Beach. Okay, I'm taking my talents to South Beach, which is sounded what was said by LeBron James a long time ago. I mean, it's a nice place. They got a good team. They got a defense. I think they're a quarterback away. I told you about Tua. I wasn't a big fan. I'm not a big fan. He has injury red flags.
Either. I know exactly why they played him during the season. They wanted to see if he was the guy.
Right.
And they found out.
And I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's the guy.
Exactly.
I
they
don't.
wanted to know that before the draft.
Well,
exactly.
They could pull the plug and absolutely go a different direction with Watson. That's what I would do if I'm them. I would. I give Tua 2 first-round picks.
Watson has, whether you think it's just rumor or not, but Watson has, wherever there's smoke, there's fire. And Watson has said that he would go to the Jets.
No,
he made that clear.
I have not heard that.
Well, if he wants to go to the Jets,
article. Why don't you follow me, Harry?
I don't know where his IQ.
No, I do, but I haven't actually heard that one. I've heard that Deshaun Watson just really wants out of there just as well as J.J. Watt does.
I mean, I guess that the choice would be with the Texans or the Jets.
That's the more interesting conversation, J.J. Watt, because I only really see 2 places where J.J.'s going to go, and that's Tampa or Pittsburgh. And he's not going to take a big chunk of money because he's won a championship.
Colin Cowherd thought it would be the Green Bay Packers. What about the Green Bay Packers as a fit?
I don't see it.
Either Green Bay, Chicago's also been rumored into it, but that was part of the Deshaun Watson trade.
The defense.
Yeah. No.
But
Chicago's
he
got
wants to go
enough
to a
defense.
competitor that's going to be in the Super Bowl within the next 5 years. And
Who?
he thinks that it's either Pittsburgh, where his brothers are at. Could you imagine all three Watt brothers in Pittsburgh?
No. I don't want to see it.
That would be hilarious.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to, because it makes Pittsburgh's defense
try to get traded there last year.
much better. Yeah.
And let them get Jameis Winston over there too.
Yeah, of course you would say that. Yeah.
Jameis wouldn't handle Pittsburgh, man. He would not like it there.
Well, they were interested in him, according to Nick Seaver, a Bucs report. So we know that for a fact.
Broke that out.
Yes, he did. Absolutely. So
I remember that every night after the news when the sports talk show comes on here and Mark Madden's Jabba the Hutt looking butt comes on.
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, he looks like Jabba the Hutt. Definitely. He looks like he ate Jabba the Hutt, honestly.
It could be Brian Pearson's brother.
Could be Mark Madden right there. That could be Brian Pearson, Mark Madden /
There you go.
So
now I would. Do you think Sue's going to leave if he wins a title, or if he don't win a title, or either way?
well, he may price himself out. I mean, that's what it may come down to. And could J.J. Watt fill his position? I think J.J. Watt would come down here if it's certainly a possibility to win a Super Bowl. So I don't know. I mean, it depends on where the Bucs and their money is going to go. Is it going to go to Godwin? Is it going to go to a Shaq Barrett? Is it going to go to a Levante David? I mean, 3 of those decisions right there could rule out a Sue. And then, of course, you got Gronk and you got Antonio Brown. So you've got some decisions to make. So it's going to be a busy offseason for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
If they move JJ into the center, I don't think he would like that too much. He didn't like it last year when they put him in the center.
I think Todd Bowles could make – I think he could make J.J. Watt happy. I think he could come up with something very creative with J.J. Watt.
Play any position on that D-line
at all. And you can make him so flexible, and it would be scary. It really would.
He is flexible. I mean, they've moved him all over the place.
That's what I'm saying.
And he's not
right.
But his most outstanding years all came when he was on stand up outside.
Well, there you go. Maybe the Bucs. I wouldn't say move on with Shaq Barrett without Shaq Barrett. I mean, I think Shaq is a guy you have to sign, but maybe they get real
big guy. I
right.
mean, you've always got that big guy. Like we got JP, which JP is amazingly fast compared to his size.
Sure,
JP's a big guy, but
I'll never rule it out, and I'll tell you why. There's 3 words: the Brady effect, right there. I mean, to me, there's going to be players that are going to be banging on that door trying to get down to Tampa Bay just because of Tom Brady.
That's my point. Dude, what did we do last year? We went out and pick and chose. Let me get the Easter basket out and pick which ones I want.
Yep, exactly. It's going to get worse in a good way.
Took discounts.
Oh yeah.
So, as far
all
as
I know is the Buccaneers are in the Super Bowl, and everybody needs to really live in this moment.
Well, I'm living in the moment.
Hey, I just said that.
Right.
I just said that. Whether you're a Buccaneer fan or not, this is a historic Super Bowl. This Super Bowl is going to live for a while, dude.
It really is.
It should.
And
you got the goat and the Billy Goat.
Man, I am so glad I've lived this long to actually get to see this one. This is special for me.
I agree, man. It's definitely special, and for me, I think it's more special than the first run. I think I appreciate it more, and I'll tell you why, because of everything.
Historically, it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean everything that was before it and followed it. It has been tremendous. So we'll see what happens, but we got 6 days away and counting it down right now.
So, Johnny, I have a question for you. When you say it's historic, if the Buccaneers blow them out, is it still historic, or is it only historic if it's a back and forth game and it's a very high scoring game and the Bucs squeak it out?
It's historic for the circumstances, for the matchups, everything about this the Bucs are in it. Home field game. This game is going to live on, no matter whether it's a blowout or not. It's going to live on. It will be better if it's a 3-point game at the end, and that will put the seal of approval on it.
Yeah.
But
I for one don't want to see it as a 3-point game, because you don't have to sit next to Peter Blake during these games. Okay, number one. A 3-point game, he'll be chewing on the table, the napkins, the plates will have nothing on them. it would be bad. You ever see Spider-Man crawl walls? Watch Peter Blake watching the game.
Well, I tell you right now, and then when people try to come up to you and talk, and look,
I know.
I'm the most sociable person of all time, but when you're watching a game, and look, I'm locked in. I'm totally different, Peter Blake. Right now, I'm locked in, but I'm not as locked in when I'm watching the game because I'm trying to, put together this and talk about this and key on this. And if I miss something because somebody's talking to me and they're saying, well, the Bucs should run the ball right now because the Packers are expecting it. I'm like, that's the reason why they're not running the ball.
That's the reason why they're not running. That was the genius that played for Ohio State behind who? What was his name?
Yeah, and look, I love fans. I love you all to death. But when I'm watching a game and I'm locked in, I'll come and talk to you. I'll shake your hand. I'll give you a dap. Hell, I might even give you a wink. But just don't get into my mojo. If I'm in that moment and I'm watching a game and I'm trying to focus on that, let me do my deal. If not,
without question,
a different side of me that you don't necessarily want to see of me. Let me just say that.
It's ugly. Trust me.
Tracy leaves the room when I'm watching football.
Right. I don't mind teaching people or something, but if you're coming there and you're saying stuff to me to just ruin my mood, it's like I'm buzzed, and I'm not ever buzzed. But like, if I were buzzed, you would be a buzzkill. That was some of the fans that I was dealing with. So maybe I need to get buzzed after the show.
This is our Tracy's routine. I watch the game alone because she can't handle the stress of me going to maybe throw something at the TV or something. But that's true, man. And then later, after the game, and when I do the replays and stuff, then she comes down and I break it down for her when I'm breaking down tape on it.
Yeah.
And that's how we watch football together.
That's it. There you go.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
That's good. Tell Tracy we love her, all right?
All right, bud.
All right, man. All right, let me go and fire those kids. Yes, sir, Johnny Dean. All right, there he's gone. All right, let me read these comments here, and we'll get on Tom Brady. I agree with you, though, man. I just there's moments there where, again, you're watching a game, and it's just like, leave me the hell alone. If you ever had a moment like that, or you want to talk about it, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Harry Greek, my professional handicapper, Mr. 88%, going up to 89, 90% as we speak. Let me go back out to the web heads here and read these comments from them. God, I hope JJ comes to Tampa, says Willow. Johnny Dean says Harry Berg, draft capital and value has changed drastically in 10 years. Willow says Peter Schrager of Good Morning Football suggested doing the Super Bowl ticket giveaway to frontline workers every year. What do y'all think? I fully agree with that. You agree with that?
Totally.
Workers? Why not? Give the nurses, give the frontline workers that have been working during this global pandemic first dibs on it. And by the way, I love corporate support, but the Super Bowl should be about the fans, not corporate support. I get it. It's money. Give more to the fans. Get more fans out there, especially when this pandemic is hopefully over, because hopefully we are back to normal next year, this year coming up in 2021. The center will play. He's already got one negative test. Brian says, okay, we read that. Richard says Bucs 38-34 over the Kansas City Chiefs. Fitzmagic is a Hall of Fame backup quarterback. Johnny Dean says, gotta pay the man also, guys. Book it 2 teams in the Watson thing, Jets and Texans. Tapasso says, I need some boom, so we will provide that boom. Just saw the greatest on NFL Network. Dylan says, seemed like Flores wanted to stick with Fitz, but the organization wanted to get Tua on the field, and that was my biggest complaint about it. Fitzpatrick was playing at a high level, very comfortable in that offense, even with, not necessarily having all the weapons at the end of the day, still getting it done, still winning games, depending on your defense, and you decide to basically pull the plug on the poor guy who's playing at a top level. Was disappointing. It really was.
He was playing at a Pro Bowl level at that
really
point,
was.
Peter.
Yeah. Johnny Dean, the Jersey Cajun strikes again. Brian says Jared Goff, LA Rams for the playoffs bunch of times. That's how what the hell, Brian? Jeez.
I'll try for you. Jared Goff, LA Rams for the playoff bunches of times. That's how good he is. How many times Detroit in the playoffs with the quarterback they had until they traded him? I speak Cajun. What he's saying is is Jared Goff has taken the Rams to the playoffs numerous times, and Matthew Stafford stinks in Detroit because they haven't been. That's what he's trying to say.
Is that a fair assessment?
For the entertainment of Brian, absolutely, buddy. You're 100% correct. Matthew Stafford stinks.
Okay. All right, Dylan, without giving up Williams, who do the Jets have to give up defensively? Sounds like they want picks and defensive starters for Watson. I think Miami is the best package with Tua, picks, and some solid defensive options. 49ers are the best overall fit. Agree with that. Tom Brady is the only quarterback that could take this team to the Super Bowl. Stafford wouldn't have won 3 games. We're still on that debate. Jeez, guys, come on. O'Brien destroyed that franchise. They are years away from contending in their current state. Oh, by the way, let the truth set you free, because if you watch this show back in the offseason, I said Bill O'Brien should have never been a general manager in the NFL. It was a complete dumpster fire. Everybody tried to convince me, well, you got Deshaun Watson still. Yeah, but you got rid of DeAndre Hopkins for basically nothing.
Preach on, brother.
Nothing for David Johnson, who was washed up. And everybody knew in Arizona that he was washed up. Completely washed up running game. I hope Winston stays in New Orleans and starts. David says everyone has to be ready to go. It's go time. AB is going to put on a show. Love to see AB do it. Over, under. How many catches do you think AB has? Over 5, under 5. Go.
You know, that hasn't came out yet, but I'm going to say, God, 5.
5.
I'm going to say right on the number.
5, okay. 5 for over 100 yards, you think? Could he have a big game? I mean, look.
There's a possibility he might not be playing.
Here, he's going to showcase it. I think he plays in this game.
I think it'd be ridiculous if he can't play, but I think he is. But
I bet you
every source that I'm talking to, it's 50-50. But if he plays, yes, he goes for over $1.
I bet you dessert somewhere he plays on Sunday.
Dessert?
Dessert.
Doesn't get me excited. Come on, Chipotle at least.
Chipotle?
Yeah.
We'll do Chipotle.
Okay, we'll do Chipotle.
We'll do that. Even though we don't have as a sponsor, by the way. But, Chipotle, if you want to come on board, come on.
It's next to Advance.
It's
next to Advanced Auto Parts.
That's it. There you go. Exactly. Well, there you go. That's our next mark right there. So I hope Winston stays in New Orleans and starts. All right. Tapasso. So is Mahomes better than Montana? Everyone is comparing Tom Terrific Brady to Mahomes, bypassing history. I'm not ready to say that yet with Mahomes. Look, he does some tremendous things, and already in his young career has been amazing. But to compare him to Joe Montana and Tom Brady already, not ready to do that. Sorry. Jeremy Mixon says, do y'all think Scotty Miller can outrun Tyreek Hill? We talked about this. I don't think he can outrun Tyreek Hill. I don't. But it's nice for something to talk about. Brian says,
want me to try for you?
Please.
I am found. None of you people, I stopped following you guys. You're a waste of time. I don't care if you got a picture of me. I don't care when you guys lose on Sunday. I'm gonna laugh. I'll get the last laugh. You've been trying that now, there old Bayou boy, for the last 4 weeks to put a jinx on us.
Born on a bayou. Born on a bayou.
Brian, you know we love you. You don't have to... Brian, trust me, man. Don't feel that way. It's just all in fun. We understand.
We love you here. We love you as a troll, man. You just keep on trolling away. But remember, when the Bucs win, I'm going to be trolling that ass. All right?
Damn right.
All right. So we read that. Let's see Johnny Dean here. Peter H. Blake, I hope you remind Nick Citro, Joshua Cole Allen, those guys about the Texans. Remember how they tried laughing at us when we told them the Texans would be bottom feeders this year. Absolutely, but we'll be laughing at them, and I'll go back and get receipts for it. That's what I love about the sports web. If I put something out there and I'm wrong, I'll admit that I was wrong, because I'll bring back that show. What the hell was Peter thinking? What the hell was I thinking? But also, if I'm right, again, I have the receipts to prove that I was right. If you feel like you're right, or you want to debate me, or you have a question for our professional handicapper, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Tom Brady and his comments. We read these early. Want to get your thoughts on it. I think I'll know when it's time. I don't know when it's time, but I think I'll know. When I put it out there, and I feel like I can't do that anymore, I can't commit to the team in the way that the team needs me to, then I think that's probably time to walk away. Are you surprised that he's considering playing until he's 45 or over? I mean, he is playing at such a high level. Give me some over-unders here. Do you think he plays over 45 years of age?
No.
Okay, why?
No, I just look, he's on top of the mountain. He really is. If he wins this Super Bowl, he's gonna have a lot to think about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, do I think he comes back to play his final year? Yes, I honestly do. But if they win this year, trust me, he's going to actually think about the retirement.
Yeah.
He has to. I mean, he has nothing left to prove other than doing something that he absolutely loves to do, like myself, like yourself. But at some point in time, when you've sat up on top of the mountain and nobody has ever kicked you off, stay on top of that mountain. Eventually it's going to hit him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you on that, but I don't think he retires this year. I think they do run it back, whether they win it or not. Got to read this comment here from Tapeso. AB makes critical catches for happiness. Let's see here. Johnny Teen says, we love your son, Bobby. Brian, he was awesome in The Water Boy. Of course, I'll be talking about Bobby Boucher. Foosball, it's from the devil. That's what Mama said. Sorry, I love that.
That's what Mama said.
I love that movie so much. Kathy Bates is so awesome in that. Henry Winkler is Coach Klein, and whoever the guy is that he's a Louisiana coach in it is awesome. I know it's all fun. I'm not taking it seriously what you guys are ready to dish out. Hey, man, I'll bring it. If you want to bring it, I'll definitely bring it back to you.
I think you should call in, Brian.
Yeah, why not?
Pick up the phone, give us a call. I would love to interview you if you could hold an actual conversation, but please, can you do it?
I think he can do it. Brian
I
said,
know we can.
I didn't watch a couple of your shows. We could have let you guys have your moment without me ragging on your team for a little bit. Yeah, it's okay. You can call in, rag on the team if you want to or not. There's no ragging on it because the Bucs won. You were wrong in both instances. You thought that they would beat the Saints. Of course, they didn't. They failed miserably. They're out. Drew Brees is done. The Bucs defense retired him. Thank you very much.
Come on, Brian. I know why you didn't call in, but you didn't pay the cable bill.
All right. Between Brady and Mahomes, this was also said. Mahomes says the way he's able to dissect defenses before the snap is something that I truly admire. He said this about Brady. I'm trying to get to that level. As I continue in my career, I'm trying to do whatever I can to watch the tape on him because he's doing it the right way, and you can tell by the rings on his fingers. Just wait until Sunday night. One of these guys without another ring might not be there immediately. But a lot of people talking about Mahomes in that same breath. They were doing the same thing last week with an Aaron Rodgers. But I think Mahomes has it right. He's got to learn from him, but he's definitely learning from the greatest of all time. So they definitely have mutual respect for each other, right?
Most definitely they have mutual respect for each other, but you're talking about two polarized and different type of quarterbacks, both very, very, very good quarterbacks, arguably the best that ever played the game in Tom Brady. Tom Brady was never mobile like, Patrick Mahomes. So that's one dimension that Mahomes does have. But I'll tell you one thing Mahomes could really learn from Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
It's his willingness. It's too much. He's too risky with the football where Tom Brady isn't. I can remember numerous games where Tom Brady, when he felt the pressure, he didn't have his feet. He threw the ball out of bounds, even if it meant punting the football because they were on third down going into fourth down, where Patrick Mahomes likes to throw across his body. Eventually, that's going to come back and bite him.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that assessment on him. Let's see here. Tom has a couple more records to take. 3-peat and undefeated season. Coffin says Harry must not be from Chicago because everyone I know that are from Chicago are White Sox fans. Brian,
hey, buddy, only good guys wear black.
Put it on the board.
Yes.
Sorry, I love Hawk Harrelson. He's awesome. I'm not a White
Definitely not a Cub fan because you know what the North Side consists of, right, Peter?
Well, easy now. I told you about this already.
I know, but people know what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say it out loud. Don't have to say easy. I don't curse.
Okay. All
But I'm
right.
not going to say it.
I have a question I would like you guys to answer, please, if you don't mind. How could Tom Brady not?
Wouldn't.
What?
Next. I can't even understand it, and I speak Cajun. Try again, Brian. All right, put it up. I'll do it again.
All right, go for it.
I have a question. I would like you guys to answer, please. If y'all don't mind, how could Tom Brady not wouldn't last year, but he gets there this year and has a chance to win it? Explain that to me, please. Okay.
Well, it's very simple. Let me go ahead and break this down for you. First and foremost, the New England Patriots are horrible at getting Tom Brady weapons. Case in point, that's the reason why he had 24 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. So when all the national media said Tom Brady is done, what they should have looked at is the fact that basically the cupboard was bare. Bill Belichick has done a poor job, a piss poor job of evaluations of talent. Furthermore, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Jameis Winston, who threw for over 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, but still 30 interceptions. You get a quarterback that's able to take care of the ball, has the plethora, Leo word. God, I got to get Leo Haggerty on again. Yes, no, not the way everybody says it. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard when he was healthy, and an offensive line that stepped up. And then furthermore, a defense that the second half of the year stepped up and played lights out. We heard from Bruce Arians, no matter what quarterback is going to come here, they're going to be able to win because we have the defense to do it. That's the reason why Tom Brady has been successful. Good? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
See,
to me,
you did speak Cajun. I explained it pretty well.
Oh, thank you. Ryan says Brady will always be better than Rodgers, Breeze, and Mahomes all put together. Just another notch on Brady's fingers. Ryan again. Damn, that's hard to read. Brian laugh out loud. And Coffin says Brian must have had one of those days at the old gas station burritos. Wait. Brian must have had one of those day-old gas station burritos this evening. Yikes. I don't like that.
You mean the ones in the little machine with the little rollers on it that keeps spinning?
And those definitely give you heartburn. I've had a couple of those. Not the greatest nutritional value, but sometimes you just got to eat fast. I ate it, and it came out fast. Let's just say that, okay? We'll put that out there. Give you a little something to think about in a different way. Do you all think our players will get signed back next year if they have the space? That would be the Saints. I think the Saints are in big cap trouble, and $95 million, I heard. With the Bucs, they have lots of decisions to make, but they're in better cap situation than the Saints are. So to your question, I'm not sure about the Saints. I don't know how many players are going to be signed back.
They got no problems in New Orleans. I don't know where everybody's coming up with this. They have the savior under center.
Oh, yeah. Jameis Winston.
There you go.
It seems Belichick did it on purpose not to get quality receivers, and that's what it came down to. And again, I always relate this to relationships when it comes to sports. Bill Belichick had the pretty girlfriend, the pretty wife, the trophy wife that won him 6 rings, took him to multiple playoff appearances, and yet took that pretty wife for granted. Here come the Bucs. I'm going to wine you and dine you. I got all these weapons. I'm going to spend all the money. I'm going to do everything it takes to get you to come with me. And guess what happened? Tom Brady basically divorced the New England Patriots and went with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There you go. You can learn so many things from a single guy here about relationships. It's amazing how you can do that with sports. Isn't it amazing? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, disclaimer, I have never been married. I don't have any kids, but I have learned what not to do when it comes to relationships. 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Jeremy says, I think it's going to be offensive versus offensive game. I mean, everybody keeps on saying that shootout game. Could this be a shocker where the Bucs offense is actually better than Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes? Because once again, the most overlooked facet of this game is that Buccaneer defense.
Nothing would surprise me in this game, Peter, other than the fact that I think that the Bucs are going to give up some points. I don't have them giving up more than 27 in this game. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give the pick out now. Can I do it, Peter?
No, don't do it now. Why would you
You
want to?
sure?
Just tease it. Just no,
I
don't.
like the over.
Okay, do you like the over? Okay.
That's it. I haven't given the pick yet.
Okay, well, there you go. Good stuff. Brady on Belichick. I have a great relationship with him. I'm just incredibly grateful for what he's meant in my life as a coach. He was everything you could ask for as a player. I had 2 incredible decades there. My football journey took me to a different place, and I certainly could have never accomplished the things in my career without his support and his teachings. An incredible coach and mentor for me. He is the top of the list. So, it seems like, once again, no hard feelings, but that is the Tom Brady that is saying all the right things. Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. That competitive fire, those competitive juices are flowing right now, and they will flow on Sunday night. He has something to prove. It has been about this debate. Was it Belichick? Was it Brady? I think it played into it. I think it also played into it at the beginning of, you get an opportunity to play in your home stadium in the Super Bowl, you go for it. That was the challenge, and definitely Brady has met it. We'll see if he can accomplish the goal that was set out at the beginning of the year. Make sense to you, Harry?
Yeah, it makes sense, but I think there's a compelling argument for either one.
Sure.
So no matter what answer you give, there's a compelling argument for Belichick and or Brady. So it's, again, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's just a rabbit hole I refuse to go down. I would like to say it was Brady. I would like to say it was Belichick. I can make an argument for either one of them, so I really couldn't give you an honest opinion on that one. Now, okay. I'm sure you can talk to other people on the panel with the Buck Report, and they'll probably have one opinion.
Okay.
Towards Brady.
Okay. All right. So Bucs having a better offensive game wouldn't surprise me over the Chiefs, but low scoring game would be. Rick says Bucs 34-28. Ryan again, Bucs 3-2. Johnny says the most overlooked aspect of the Bucs is their offensive line. Agree with that?
100%. But you know what? They're not overlooked anymore.
No.
This offensive line has played unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, Johnny, they really came together extremely well when they kept Gronkowski in the block a little bit more. That has solidified that offensive line. They are not even getting to Tom Brady. They're barely getting his jersey dirty.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's been the key. That's been the big time key for this Bucs offense and taking off. Let's see here. Brian says, if Tom Brady does not win the Super Bowl, then Jameis Winston can give him some pointers on how to win the Super Bowl, on how to win a bowl game. If you guys wouldn't mind, think about that. Well, the fact of the matter, Brian, is it's always great to troll me, but in order to do that, you actually have to have something to troll with. To say that Jameis Winston could give Tom Brady any pointers on how to win a playoff game. By the way, has Jameis Winston ever taken a team to the playoffs? No, I know that for a fact, because when he was here for 5 years, he never could do it. To win a Super Bowl? Come on, Brian. Stop, man. Really?
No, but hold on. Brian's right about one thing. He could give Tom Brady advice on one thing. You know what it is?
What's up?
How to cook seafood. And where to go get it at.
Crab legs. Gotta love it.
I didn't say anything about buying it, did I?
No. You didn't.
There you go, Brian. Look it up. Google it. Brian, I'll give you homework for the next 2 days, buddy. Look that up.
Into that
Jameis Winston and crab leg.
Oh, Brian. Winston can't even make the playoffs, giving pointers to Brady on how to win a Super Bowl. Laugh out loud. Johnny Dean. The first half of Brady's career, Belichick was responsible for his development. That is a huge part of who Brady is. The second half of his career was mostly Brady. And we even heard from Bruce Arians this year saying, I like this guy coaching. I'm letting this guy coach the team. You kind of wonder why it took so long for Bruce Arians to realize that Tom Brady can not only play quarterback, but can coach. And I feel like the guy has the IQ better than anybody else. Why not be a coach in this league one of these days? Who knows? Who knows? Rick H says Belichick 51-68 as a head coach without Brady. He was 5-13 in New England when Bledsoe got hurt and Brady took over and won the Super Bowl. Yeah, I get that. A lot of people saying, same thing with Phil Jackson, same thing with, great coaches having great players. Belichick is one of the greatest coaches of all time, but the whole debate was who was more responsible for it. And I think we've kind of seen that it's Tom Brady that was more responsible for it. That's not to say that Belichick wasn't responsible also, but The whole premise of the debate was, could Brady do it without Belichick? And we've seen he can.
It's all part of this system as well. And yes, I agree with that. And there's always an old adage. Coaches coach and players play. Period. Okay, so the players are always going to be more valuable than the coaches are. Okay, so if you lean on that one premise, then you're going to say, yeah, it was definitely Brady. But I know from playing ball, and a lot of people out there from playing ball, you still need a really good coach to win because he has to come up with the game plan. But ultimately, coaches coach, players play.
All right, more comments here. I want to go out to JPP. He was asked on his press call about Mike Remmers. Of course, that is the guy that's going to be replacing Eric Fisher for the Super Bowl on Sunday because Fisher sustained a torn Achilles in the AFC title game. And he said this. You got to love JPP's candor and bluntness. Man, I don't even know who that was. I ain't going to lie to you. This is a tackle they're talking about. I mean, like I said, I don't too much care about it. They got to figure that out. I'm going to play some great football. They actually faced off a few snaps in their Week 12 matchup. It's interesting to know. I don't care. It don't matter. This is the freaking Super Bowl. His words, not mine. I don't care if they have 3 offensive linemen and send 2 to block me, 3 to block me. I'm going to do what I need to do. Us boys are going to do what we need to do. That's your problem. I'm coming to play a football game, not any football game, but Super Bowl 55. I don't got time to play any games. Freaking JPP. I don't got time to play any games. The only game I'm playing is football. To answer your question, I don't care about their offensive linemen. I don't care. And I'm going to go ahead and fire those candidates because obviously what I get out of that is JPP is on a mission to win Super Bowl 55. And Harry, say it with me, he doesn't care who's in front of him. He's going around him or he's going through him, right?
I'm going through them, and the only thing you should be firing are those cannons. Definitely don't fire any fireworks, okay? JPP, please don't do it.
Oh, would you shut up and be quiet?
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. He actually got better after that incident. You really think about it. Statistically, the guy got better. I don't know what happened to him.
Well, I mean, he was always a gamer, and the Giants gave up on him. They thought he was done. Jason Light, to his credit, traded a 3rd-round pick for him, and it was absolute steal because the first year he came in with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 12.5 sacks. He gets hurt last year with a broken freaking neck, plays 10 games and has 8.5 sacks, and is the difference between that defensive line coming together, that veteran leadership that you can't really put a price tag on, but you can with a JPP, and that's the reason why they signed him in the offseason. And what did he say, Harry, when he was signed and when Tom Brady was signed? He didn't say playoffs. He said championships.
Yep.
Championships.
Yep, I do recall that. I remember when they signed JPP.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Pat. I'm sure you remember who Pat is. And he says, what do you think about the signing? And I says, I think they overspent with them giving a 3rd-round draft pick. And that was my God's honest assessment. I was so wrong with that. I didn't think he had that much left in the tank. The older he got, the better he got.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens sometimes. Guys just, it's not all about the physical game. It's about the mental game. It's about moves and counter moves. And that's what JPP has learned. He's gotten better with time. And look, I don't think he's washed up by any means. He's not. Although, the knee injury at certain points this year have been a little bit scary. He has not necessarily been himself. But at the end of the day, to give up a 3rd-round pick for a highly productive player that has veteran leadership, like a JPP, Jason Light deserves credit for it. He does. All right, so let's read more comments, and then we're going to get out of here for the night. Unless they are player coaches, Johnny Dean says, Rick, it's not even Belichick's system. Ernie Adams developed it. Very nice. Brian says, when football season's over, what sport are you going to talk about next? We talk about football. Because you know why? This is when we ramp it up. This is when Bucs Report does their work. Free agency. Oh, my. Draft. Oh, my. Other teams in the NFL. Oh, my. You think we stop? You think we take days off? Sometimes take a day off. Probably take a week off after the Super Bowl. Just saying, because the boss said it to do it. But that's when we ramp it up. And that's when you can ramp it up. And when other platforms are basically saying, you know what? There's really nothing to talk about. There's always something to talk about on the sports web. I don't care what it is, who's getting signed. We will definitely cover it and take your phone calls. Development, says Johnny Dean. Absolutely. Ryan, come on, guys. Give Belichick credit. Without his out-of-date clothes, that 12-year-old's war in 1958, Brady never would have met Robert Kraft. Goodness gracious, that was pretty funny. I'll give you that. They talk about crickets in the offseason. We don't talk about crickets, but sometimes you will hear crickets when the Bucs win, Brian and Ryan. Ryan. Kurt Angle also wrestled with a broken friggin' neck. That he did. Olympic hero there. I remember that. There's no end to football season. There is. When I was younger, people go, well, football season's over. Well, what are you talking about now? Huh? Well, you can't talk basketball? I can't talk basketball. No, I can't talk about the Orlando Magic. I mean, you don't want to, but you can. You can talk about the Tampa Bay Rays, talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning. When I can't talk other sports, what do you think? I'm a Neanderthal? Come on, man. It's the sports web. We always talk about more sports than the Bucs, but predominantly here on Bucs Report, we talk about Tampa Bay Buccaneers offseason. How many shows did we do, Johnny Dean, during the pandemic? How many nights did we spend 2-3 hours talking about some of the same things that we're talking about now, but have now come to fruition on those nights? Go back, take a look, compare it. Compare my show to anything that's nationally out there, and I guarantee it will stand on its own. It will. It'll be better. You'll enjoy it. It'll be 1 hour. It'll be an hour and a half. It'll be 2 hours. It'll be 3 hours, and you'll want more, and you'll come back for more. Definitely join the 68,000 following we have here on Facebook. Of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and that Bucs Report Twitch channel. It's the Sports Web, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. Obviously, they know something that everybody else knows. For all your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. Again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper.
You get me fired up, man.
Good.
It's time for bed. You're like, get me fired up. I like to want to go out and run miles now.
That's it. Yash says, bring that passion. Hello, Bucks family. Chad says, much love, Peter H. Blake. I love it. One love, much love. Go ahead and give you the Ric Flair. Woo! And also have my former boss, Emily, watching, who taught me about structure. I'm trying to think of the other word. What was it? Structure and stability. Man, she's a big-time Bucs fan. So thanks a lot for watching the Sports Web, the evolution of sports talk television. Weather could be a factor. It could rain earlier on. Winds could be 5 to 15 miles an hour. I don't know if anybody's paid attention here, Harry, but it's been like 50 degrees, but it will be 68 degrees. It's perfect weather, right? I mean, no weather conditions you think would affect this game, affect both of these potent offenses or this Bucs defense?
I wish it would have been about 85 degrees and sunny. That definitely would have favored Tampa.
Yeah, well, I absolutely would have favored Tampa, but that's not going to happen.
That. I mean, they want to talk about the narrative always is, well, if it's below 30 and it's snowing, oh my God, Tampa can't play.
Right.
Guys, talk about the teams that come in from up north and it's 85 and sunny. Because when it's 85 outside and it's sunny, it's 110 on the field.
Yep. Let's see here. Orlando Magic, laugh out loud. We've talked about it before. Trust me. Magic have been irrelevant since Shaq and Penny left. Absolutely, they have. Broke my dad's heart. My dad never watched an NBA game after that. True story. That's why I hate free agency to this day. Guys, the Bucs will win the Super Bowl. Johnny Dean says regular season, postseason, free agency, trade times, draft talk, preseason football is life. We've gone out to camps before. We've gone out to mini camps and OTAs and training camps. We've done it all here on Bucs Report. Just continue to watch and draft specials, second, third, fourth round, 4th to 7th round, 5-6 hour draft shows. I mean, who does that? We do here on Bucs Report. All right. Bruce Arians, when asked about coaching hirings, I was very pissed that that would be Byron Leftwich's offensive coordinator, at least didn't get an interview this year. For the job that he's done, I get way too much credit, and so does Tom Brady. I think next year, people will see he took Jameis Winston, who broke every single record here for scoring and passing, and how Tom has broken both. Is that fair that Byron Leftwich should be getting more interviews, but because of Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, he's not?
I have no comment on that one, Peter. I'm sorry. I definitely do not have a comment on that one. I'm not a Byron Leftwich fan.
Okay. And again, it was structure and stability, Emily. I think I remember that. I think that's what it was. I was selling tax preparation programs. That was interesting. Boy.
Structure and stability.
Structure and stability. And she had better. It was better than that. It was.
Well, you definitely have both. So, Emily, you did well.
She did. She did very well. I didn't sell a lot of tax preparation programs, but I learned a lot. And then when I went back into other sales job, which was lead generation, which is talking on the phone, which, by the way, I had somebody today tell me that Tom Brady was washed up. I swear to God. I wanted to hang up on the person, but what did I do? I collected my thoughts. I had poise. I had structure and stability, and I sold that person. So a person that was on the phone saying that Tom Brady was washed up, there you go. All right. Let's see here. Brian, is your favorite Tampa Bay Buccaneer moment of all time making the Super Bowl? If both of you guys can answer that question, thank you very much. My favorite moment of all time in Bucs history is Rondé Barber, 92 yards to the house to close down the vet. Kind of reminded me of that Saints game where they basically closed out Drew Brees in his career. Kind of reminded me of closing out the Saints year after once again winning the NFC South and not doing diddly squat with it. So thank you very much for participating. There you go. Johnny Dean says, yes, it's fair. And Rick says, how do you feel about Bowles? I love Bowles. I definitely think he's a big part of it. And I think he will be in the conversation when and if Bruce Arians decides to retire, right? Todd Bowles as a coach in the NFL, possibly for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the future. What do you say? Percentage? Give me a percentage here, my professional handicapper, just off the top of your head.
25%.
Wow, 25%. That's it.
Yeah, because he's a defensive-minded coach. He's already had that one stint up in the New York Jets area. Very few coordinators, that are defensive coordinators or OCs actually make it to be head coaches on the current teams that they're on. They usually take jobs elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said 25%, not because he's not deserving, and that's not what I meant by that.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. I eat cereal out of bowls. Okay. Well, that's good,
Johnny. That's pretty good.
That's good. What kind of cereal do you guys like to eat? I like to eat Lucky Charms. I like to eat Frosted Flakes. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What kind of cereal do you like?
Come on, you're a Fruit Loop kind of guy.
Oh, I'm definitely a Fruit Loop.
Okay.
I love it. That's great. I love it. Tricks are for kids, too. There you go. Bowles look bad as a head coach with the Jets. I mean, every coach that coaches the Jets, just in the season, looks bad. So prayers for Robert Saleh. Hopefully he could turn it around. But that organization is just piss poor. Let me go out to Johnny Dean here. Johnny Dean, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper. What do you have to say?
There's only one answer for the cereal thing, dude.
Go for it.
Captain Crunch.
Oh, man, it's so beautiful. What now? Wait a minute now. Is it Captain Crunch or is it Peanut Butter Crunch? Can we get a little tricky here?
Nope, just Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch. All right, Captain Crunch, Harry the Greek.
That's what the Bucs defense is going to do. They're going to crunch all over them.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
What do I like?
Crunch the captain. There you go. All right, good stuff, Johnny Dean. Thanks a lot for participating. We love it.
Since we're on cereal here, guys.
Yes,
we're talking. Remember when you could go to the grocery store and you got the variety pack and they came in the little boxes and there was like 16 of them in there?
Yes. You got the Apple Jacks.
Yeah. So true story. I used to take, let me take the Apple Jacks and the Special K and put those together. And let me take the Fruit Loops and the Fruity Pebbles and put those together. It didn't make a difference, man. They were all good.
They're good, man. I tell you right now, you get an extra treat because if you had the Cocoa Krispies, you get chocolate milk at the end. So you fill that whole bowl up, with the Cocoa Krispies and the milk, and then after you're done with it, then you drink the milk, and then you get yourself another bowl. Or you didn't have enough milk because you ate all the cereal and you didn't put enough milk in it, so you get yourself another bowl. So you have like double,
Do you remember Count Chocula?
I never ate that.
It's like Cocoa Krispies, man. I'm telling you, it was like it was dope, bro. I mean, it was that good.
All right. So Coffin says Count Chocula with a name like Coffin. I'm thinking maybe that's where it originated from. Just saying.
Frosted mini wheats.
Frosted mini wheats are good.
Hit
No,
the
they're
boo.
good.
Hit the
They're
boo
healthy.
button.
No. We're not gonna boo that. I'm actually gonna
boo it.
I'm gonna give him a woo. I think that's underrated. I like frosted mini wheats because at the same time you can be healthy. Okay, you get your mini wheats, and then you can also, have a little sugar. So it's not.
We might as well eat Kashi cereal now. Okay.
Oh, please, don't be foolish.
Granola.
Let's see here. Frankenberry. Never had granola. I have granola bars, not granola cereal. I tell you what I like. Raisin. Was it Raisin Bran Crunch?
That's really good.
That's really good. Freaking good. Absolutely. So Frankenberry there. Johnny Dean says mini wheats rock. They do. I never got the Wheaties thing. I had to put the sugar in it, and it's kind of cheating. I never got the whole Wheaties thing. It tasted horrible. I get it. You have your favorite sports guy on the box or whatever else. Even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at a time were on a Wheaties box when they won the Super Bowl in 2002, and you have a bowl of Wheaties. It wasn't that good. I had to put sugar in it. Now same thing with Cheerios. You got to get the honey nut Cheerios. Couldn't do it. So we're talking cereal now. This is where this conversation has rode off to here. Let's see here. Steve Spagnuolo. We kind of talked about that a little bit, touched upon it. Of course, he's responsible for being the defensive coordinator of the Giants. Of course, 2 losses in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, and now he's the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. And Spags, as he was called by his players, he coached, told the NFL Network in 2018, the key to his success in 10 years ago was twofold. Frustrate Brady by keeping the pressure on and don't let him throw passes over 20 yards. Is that what's the word I'm looking for? Is that an accurate statement?
Yes and no.
Okay.
When you put pressure on Brady, you can't throw over 20 yards in the first place. I think what he meant to say is put pressure on Brady, and he won't be able to throw the short to intermediate passes like he did back when he was in New England.
Sure.
But as for the 20 yards, that's a no-brainer. If you get enough pressure on him, he can't release the ball. And if he is, they're very ill-advised passes.
Linebacker Jesse Armstead teases me about this, but at one point during the week, I said, look, if it doesn't matter whether we stop him from throwing it or not, let's just make sure that we hit him. He told me this later. He said, that doesn't sound right. He said, Coach, I'm not sure that I was on board with that. He continued, but our guys bought into it. We hoped, and the hope was that we could frustrate him a little bit, and that was the first thing. The second thing was, let's not give up over 20 yards. So, of course, he tried to coach with the St. Louis Rams, being a defensive coordinator, and he would go 11-41 with the St. Louis Rams before getting fired in 2012. Of course, hooked on with Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs in 2019. So could this be an X factor once again that we're not looking at, besides players, coaches that know the tendencies of Tom Brady, or really it doesn't matter. They're going to be prepared for it. And at the end of the day, it comes down to a Frank Clark, a Chris Jones. And if they don't get after it, Brady can go down the field for 20 yards or more, right?
I don't think they're going to have a very difficult time throwing the ball deep, intermediate, or short. I mean, this Kansas City defense is not as good as what they faced in the past 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
As far as look, Tampa Bay's offense is going to be able to do whatever they want to do against that defense. That's just my opinion. Kansas City is going to try to be foolish and blitz very frequently, and they will get burned very frequently in this game.
Now I got to read this comment right now because this is kind of bothering me. Let's see. I never heard of Raisin Bran Crunch. Really? You've never heard of Raisin Bran Crunch? It's better than Raisin Bran. And that's tough to say because Raisin Bran is a very good cereal, but Raisin Bran Crunch has all that granola that Mr. Harry the Greek is talking about, all that crunchy stuff in there. So definitely check it out at your local store there. Honey Bunches of Oats are good. Tim says mixed Fruity Pebbles or Rice Krispies or Frosted Flakes. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds good, man. I actually subscribed to Sports Illustrated to get the Bucs Super Bowl season DVD and commemorative football still have them. Very cool. I think we all did. Geez, I brought up Captain Crunch as a parallel for the Buccaneers, and it went off the rails. So the key is readiness of the offensive line. I mean, again, it always goes back to the offensive line. We talked about it at the beginning of the season, ladies and gentlemen. You have to keep that 43-year-old quarterback upright. And in the same breath, you're going to have to do the same thing with Patrick Mahomes, because if that defense gets after it and you have all those injuries and the next man up mentality doesn't come to fruition, Patrick Mahomes is in big trouble. This defense will get after it. So on both sides of the ball, especially the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, offensive line has to come and play. It just goes to show you never know what people will bite on. Yum. I mean, I'm telling you, I love cereal. I mean, Brian, do you love cereal? What cereal do you like besides Fruit Loops and Trix? Don't underestimate Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They will have something cooked up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday. I would expect they would. Andy Reid is a Super Bowl winning head coach. He won it last year. Of course they're going to game plan. I just think the Bucs should be favored in this game, are going to win this game. The DC for KC has won 2 Super Bowls versus Brady. Andy Reid is going to get revenge in our house for the way we beat them and the vet and their opening and the new stadium. Try to get revenge. Well, he's going to try to get revenge, but it's not going to happen, in my opinion. Final thoughts here. Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper.
My final thoughts are I'm just very blessed to be able to have the job the way I do, the loving wife that I have, the beautiful weather, being in Florida, and the Bucs report. Those are my final thoughts. I just hope everybody's just going to have a really fantastic week. I hope that everybody stays safe, wear a mask, and just make sure you prepare a lot of food and invite us both over so we can come over and crash your party and eat.
That's absolutely right. If it's cereal, we're coming over to crash it anyway. We're definitely going to come over and crash when you have cereal here.
Let's bring the Fruity Pebbles, though. I want some Fruity Pebbles now.
Let's see here. Wheat. I guess he's saying Wheaties with brown sugar is very simple. Laugh out loud. Oh, okay. All right. Never heard of that before. So what do you always say about if you're trying to put out a bet there, Harry the Greek?
My final thoughts with that is keep your wagers small and your returns very high. Bet the over. That's my first pick. Seriously, get on that before it continues to go up, because everything that I've seen in the board so far on any program that I've been has this game going over. Every prediction that I see from the fans, the game is going over.
All right. Good stuff there, Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper. Thanks a lot for your time, and we'll see you on Wednesday night. And I got to tell you right now, we'll throw it out to the fans. What's some of your favorite Super Bowl memories, your favorite Super Bowl, your favorite Super Bowl players? We'll have that on Wednesday for you guys. Thanks a lot, Harry the Greek. Appreciate you. All right.
Thank you very much, Peter. Have a really good night.
All right. Absolutely, buddy. There you go. Good stuff there. Let's go out to the webheads here. I will underestimate Andy Reid and Patty Cakes Mahomes. They won't have anything new that Brady hasn't seen before. Not worried at all. Johnny Dean says the storyline for this Super Bowl is amazing. Bye, guys. Bye, Ryan. And, of course, in the first half, don't mean nothing in football game. It all comes down to the third and fourth quarter. If you win, then 2 quarters, you win the game. Okay, Rick says, y'all take care and stay safe. Absolutely. Thanks to all you guys here. Webheads, trolls, love you guys. Thanks to all the phone callers. Of course, Alex Rawlings, NFL. We had... we had the owner of Dugouts talking about that great charity that is going on Saturday night, which escapes me right now. Again, Dugout Kings, thanks to him for coming on and definitely sharing that. And once again, Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper. We'll be back on Wednesday night with former Buccaneer great Mr. Ricky Reynolds here. And then, of course, as always, your phone calls. And now we are we're 5 days away because it's almost midnight. Do 3 things for me. Super Bowl 55, Bucs versus the Kansas City Chiefs. You ready? Set, go. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, and we'll see you on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. For all your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. We'll see you on Wednesday night, 9 o'clock live here on Bucs Report. Have a great night.
throws, end zone. He's got Evans for the touchdown. Third down conversions on their way down the field, and Mike Evans is in for the score and the early points for the Buccaneers here on the road.
Well, Kevin King comes up, he gets a jam on him, and then he doesn't really retreat after that. And Evans is just able to get him behind him, go to the corner, and mistimes his jump on the ball.
Going nowhere, we ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now.